We could all go ahead and get our seats. And we got a big crowd tonight. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call this Pompano Beach City Commission meeting to order, April 22nd, 2025, close to 6 o'clock. If I could ask everyone before we get started, I know we've got a large crowd, ask everyone to please just check your cell phones, put them on vibrate or silent mode or turn them off, whatever you need to do, just so we don't get disrupted during the meeting. That would be great. Thank you very much. All right, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik.
Here.
Commissioner Perkins.
Here.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Vice Mayor Fournier.
Here.
Mayor Harton.
Here, thank you. All right, our invocation this evening is going to be given by Reverend Ronald Perkins, Senior Chaplain. That'll be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If we could all please rise for the invocation, followed by the pledge.
The Lord be with you.
And with you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Let us pray. Eternal Father, as we come together this evening, we pray you shed your light, grace, and peace on all those participating in these proceedings. We humbly ask that you bring our city leaders the wisdom to govern fairly, while remembering those that are poor, homeless, the young, and the aged. We ask your blessings upon all those gathered to share in your democratic process today. We pray, Father, that you guide our elected leaders today and throughout their time of service, giving them wisdom, courage, and foresight to provide for the needs of all our people. We ask you, Lord, for the grace to show charity and justice to all that come before our city commission. Lord, we pray that you protect those that protect us each day, our law enforcement officers and firefighters, as well as our military personnel deployed in harm's way. Surround them with your grace and return them safely to their loved ones when their duties are done. As we reflect on the end of Passover for our Jewish friends and the celebration of the resurrection for our chaplains, let us pray for Pope Francis, a friend of all believers in God, a shepherd that loved all humanity regardless of religion or lack thereof. Let Francesco continue to pray for us as we pray for him. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Right. Can I get a motion approving the regular City Commission meeting minutes of March 25th, 2025?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you for that. All right, on our agenda this evening, we'll be striking item number 8. So number 8 is stricken. Also, going to add a special presentation. The first presentation will be a presentation by Jason Bruchow, Chief Operating Officer of the Miami Sharks Rugby Club. Even though they're the Miami Sharks Rugby Club, they actually reside here in Pompano and play right here in Fort Lauderdale. So that'll be the first presentation up on the presentation schedule. Any other changes to our agenda, Mr. Harrison?
No, sir.
Very good. Can I get a motion approving the agenda as amended?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. On our consent agenda this evening, item number 2 will be pulled for individual discussion. So all other items on the consent agenda are eligible for discussion during audience to be heard, all except item number 2, which will be pulled individually. All right, that takes us up to our proclamations. First up will be Mental Health Awareness Month, followed by Teacher Appreciation Week, which will be followed by our presentations. Okay, right, I'll be right over here at the podium. Is Dr. Joseph? Yes, sir. Okay, come on down. Right here. I'll read the presentation. Very good. All right. It's a long proclamation. Whereas The mission of the National Alliance on Mental Health Illness of Broward, NAMI Broward, is to enhance awareness and provide programs in Broward County that support a world-class system for the treatment and recovery of individuals facing mental health challenges. NAMI Broward delivers support, education, and advocacy to nurture better understanding, coping strategies, and positive outcomes for people and their families navigating the complexities of mental health. And whereas mental health conditions are treatable health conditions that are widespread and manageable. And whereas comprehensive health care encompasses mental health care, which must be accessible to all individuals irrespective of race, gender, age, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, values, and cultural beliefs. It is vital that these factors are integrated into treatment, allowing the community to become a bastion of support. And whereas the breadth of the mental health crisis affecting both children and adults is profound. 1 in 5 adults will encounter a mental health challenge in any given year. Half of all mental health conditions begin by age 14, and 75% by 24 years old. Prompt intervention leads to more favorable outcomes. And whereas half of the children and adults living with mental health challenges never receive transformative treatment due to barriers to care and stigma. The resilience and recovery journey of individuals diagnosed with a mental health condition should be celebrated rather than stigmatized. And whereas mental health challenges are not criminal issues, nonetheless, individuals with mental health diagnoses are disproportionately represented in jails and prisons. NAMI commends the implementation of crisis intervention training for law enforcement officers, diversion programs, and mobile crisis response teams that effectively reduce involvement in the justice system and enhance safety. And whereas individuals experiencing mental health challenges are capable of leading meaningful lives and contributing significantly to society. Communities aid those with mental health challenges by ensuring access to quality care and appropriate supports. And whereas NAMI Broward designates the month of May as Mental Health Awareness Month to promote mental health awareness, to inspire those living with mental health challenges to seek support, and to be uplifted by our message, you are not alone. And now, therefore, I, Rex Harden, Mayor of the City of Pompano Beach, on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim May as Mental Health Awareness Month in the City of Pompano Beach and urge all residents in our community to commit to increasing awareness and understanding of mental illness, reducing stigma and discrimination, while promoting and working to provide appropriate and accessible services for all people. On this 22nd day of April, 2025, Rex Harden, Mayor, thank you so much for your support of mental health awareness and treatment. And please, say a few words. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager, and City Attorney, and members of the Pompano Beach community, and particularly our school outstanding employees and teachers of the year. I'm Dr. Joe Oravec, and CEO of NAMI Broward County. I want to express my deep appreciation for this proclamation recognizing May as Mental Health Awareness Month. This year's national NAMI message is powerful and personal. In every story, there is strength. That story may belong to a neighbor, a colleague, a parent, or a child. And every time we acknowledge it, we break down stigma and open the door to hope. That strength is found in the families we support, the individuals who attend our groups, and the community members who show up, like all of you, ready to end stigma and start the real conversations. We are the nation's oldest grassroots mental health organization, and NAMI Broward is proud to serve as your local grassroots mental health nonprofit. Here in Broward, we provide completely free evidence-based programming, outreach to education classes like Family to Family, peer and family support groups, outreach presentations to schools, community groups, and first responders, all designed to help people feel heard, seen, and supported. No insurance, no diagnosis required. Your proclamation articulates the data of how we all, and while we receive no federal or state funding and only limited support locally, we are committed to showing up in every zip code, meeting people where they are. That's why moments like this matter. This proclamation sends a clear message that mental health matters in Pompano Beach. We are proud to bring our services directly into the community. Libraries, schools, faith centers, not just in offices. And we rely on local partnership, like this one, to keep those programs free and accessible. I'd be also remiss if I didn't mention a growing movement in Broward. We also invite our business community and city departments to engage in our Stigma-Free Workplace Initiative, a training and awareness program helping cities, businesses, and organizations support employee mental wellness at every level. Several neighboring municipalities are already involved. We'd love to bring in to the Pompano Beach as well. And finally, I invite each and every one of you to join us on Saturday, October 4th at Nova Southeastern University for the NAMI Mental Health for All Walk. It's a morning of celebration, community, and purpose. And we'd be proud to have the city of Pompano Beach walk with us. Thank you for standing with NAMI Broward County and reminding your residents and all of our community that we are never alone. Together, we're building a stronger, healthier, more compassionate Broward County. Thank you.
All right. Next up, we've got Teacher Appreciation Week. We've got a lot of stuff going on with teachers today. That's great. Brian, would you care to come up here and accept this on behalf of the Education Advisory Committee? Yes. Whereas, teachers in all learning environments play an essential role in helping students grow their talents, pursue their passions, and support their unique needs, preparing them for successful and fulfilling lives. And whereas, teachers are respected professionals entrusted with the future of our children. They must be empowered and supported to provide high-quality, innovative learning experiences that reach and serve every student. And whereas, collaboration between teachers and parents, those who know children best, is critical to ensuring that every child receives the individualized support they need, regardless of zip code, income, or background. And whereas the continued success of Broward County Public Schools depends on the tireless efforts of dedicated teachers who inspire students to realize their limitless potential, thereby shaping the future of our communities. Whereas everyone can remember a great teacher who made a meaningful difference in their own life or in the life of someone they love. And whereas it is fitting and proper that we recognize and celebrate our teachers, not only during Teacher Appreciation Week, but throughout the year, for their unwavering commitment to excellence in education. Now, therefore, I, Rex Harden, Mayor of the City of Pompano Beach, on behalf of the entire City Commission and citizens of Pompano, do hereby proclaim May 5th through May 9th, 2025, as Teacher Appreciation Week in the City of Pompano Beach, and extend our appreciation and gratitude to all of the teachers in Pompano Beach and Broward County on this 22nd day of April 2025. Rex Harden, Mayor. Indeed, thank you, teachers, for all you all do everywhere. Thank you so much. All right, next on our agenda, let's see, we've got presentations. All right, and as I mentioned earlier on the change in the agenda, we're going to have Jason Bruchow, Chief Operating Officer of the Miami Sharks Rugby Club, come up. He's got a presentation. Jason, come on down. Like I said, it's the Miami Sharks Rugby Club, but in actuality, it's almost like we've got our own Pompano Beach Rugby Club here. Good seeing you. Here you go.
I brought thank you, Eric, for being here. I brought a nice just present for Rex and all of the Pompano Beach community. So my name is Jason Bruchou. I'll just hand it off to the mayor with our. It has been signed today after our players' training. So we are the first professional rugby team for Florida. For those who don't know about rugby, it's a high-impact sport, very similar to American football. But so this is our second season in the league. The league has been operating for 8 years already, and we play out of Inter Miami Stadium. So all of our players have been living at Old Town Square. I want to say also thank you to Adam Adachi for having us there. It's a great place for our players to be. We have players all around the world. Players from the US, Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, South Africa, Ireland, Canada. So we really felt the love and support of the community. So we really appreciate that. And if anyone wants to come see what's happening, it's a really family-oriented event we have bouncy houses, food trucks, all sorts of activities. So we have 3 home games coming up, last of the season. So one is next Sunday at 9 p.m. And then we have both 2 Fridays, the 16th and the 30th of May at 7:30. So we really appreciate for your support. And I hope, Mayor, that you like your colors, and thank you for all your support. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I will. I'm not gonna wear it very often. I'll be honest with you. I think I'm a little out of shape for rugby, but congratulations on you guys on your success as the team and playing here locally. It's great, and thank you for your support of Pompano Beach. I mean, after all, I said you guys live right here in Pompano Beach. It's great. So yeah, let's get a quick picture here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. All right. Next up, we've got the big show here. Special acknowledgement of Pompano Beach educators. Mayor Rex Harden, the educator. Yep, that's it. Let's say it. Yes, and thank you to our Education Advisory Committee for organizing this and putting this whole thing on. Brian, you're going to come back up here, and why don't you bring up your entire committee also, and let's go through these presentations, and seriously, everybody who's listening, everybody at home, everybody across the city, thank a teacher. What the work they do is, I mean, it really is. It's making our future. So thank you. So I'll let you take it over, Brian.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to invite the members of the Education Advisory Committee, if you would, to come forward if you're not already up here. To the mayor, vice mayor, city commissioners, it's good to see you all again today. I stand before you tonight as the chairman of the Pompano Beach Education Advisory Committee. It is with immense pride and joy that the Education Advisory Committee presents to you the distinguished educators and school employees who have been awarded the prestigious title of Teacher of the Year and Employee of the Year at the public schools in Pompano Beach. These exceptional individuals have demonstrated unwavering commitment, exemplary dedication, and profound passion for nurturing the minds and hearts of the students, staff, and community that they serve. We recognize the diligent work of these individuals in creating a supportive and inclusive learning environment. Their dedication goes beyond the classroom, beyond the school campus, touching the lives of students and their families and enhancing the broader Pompano Beach community. In addition to the Teacher and Employee of the Year honorees, we want to also recognize tonight 2 amazing administrators from our Pompano Beach schools who were honored for their excellence as educational leaders. Assistant Vice Principal of the Year for Broward County Schools, Shanae Rowe of Blanche Ely High School. And Florida Tax Watch Principal Leadership Award winner, Robert Gibson from Palm View Elementary School. What I'd like to do, I'm going to call each school, and if the teachers and employee of the year for that school are here, please come forward so you can receive your certificate. And also Ms. Rowe and Mr. Gibson, if you're here, would you come forward when I acknowledge your name as well? And we'll take some pictures right up front here. From Blanche Ely High School, Teacher of the Year, Andrea Love Johnson. And Employee of the Year from Blanche Ely High School, Juanita King. From C. Robert Barkham Elementary, Teacher of the Year, Brandy Scott. And Employee of the Year from Markham Elementary, Gladys Caballos. From Charles Drew Elementary, Teacher of the Year, Chantel Goldsby. And Employee of the Year, Kyle Freeman. From Cresthaven Elementary, Teacher of the Year, Jacqueline Schulman. And Employee of the Year, Kathy Doku. From Cross Creek School, Teacher of the Year, Iris Jones. And Employee of the Year from Cross Creek School, Bobby Jean Allen. From Crystal Lake Middle School, Teacher of the Year, Vitra Unstising. And Employee of the Year, Anna Rokiki. From Cypress Elementary School, Teacher of the Year, Cynthia Lusant. And Employee of the Year, Julie St. Clair. From Cypress Run Elementary Center, Teacher of the Year, Irene Noel. And Employee of the Year, Charmaine Lindsay. From McNabb Elementary, Teacher of the Year, Stephanie McDougan. And Employee of the Year, Maria Tello. Norcrest Elementary, Teacher of the Year, Julie Van Hoos. Employee of the Year, Lori Beard. From Palmview Elementary, Teacher of the Year, Leslie Hitch. And Employee of the Year, Brian Goodstein. From Pompano Beach Elementary, Teacher of the Year, Mayra Lozado Ocasio. I got that right. And Employee of the Year from Pompano Elementary, Darren Hines. From Pompano Beach High School, Teacher of the Year, Spencer Brown. And Employee of the Year from Pompano Beach High School, Ciel Reyes Estrella. From Pompano Beach Middle School, Teacher of the Year, Michael B. Miller, Jr. And Employee of the Year from Pompano Beach Middle School, Willie Brown. And last but not least, from Sanders Park Elementary, Teacher of the Year, Alicia McIntosh. And Employee of the Year, Kedra McKeithen. And last but not least, these special awards that we want to present tonight. Ms. Shanae Rowe. And I'll read this plaque. It says, with our greatest appreciation, we hereby honor Shanae Rowe in recognition for your passion and commitment to public education in Pompano Beach. Congratulations on receiving the 2025 Assistant Principal of the Year from the City of Pompano Beach Education Advisory Committee. I just want to check and make sure that Mr. Gibson come. I don't want to miss it. Oh, he's here. Come on down. Come on down, Mr. Robert Gibson. And again, we hereby honor Robert Gibson in recognition for your passion and commitment to public education in Pompano Beach. Congratulations on receiving the 2024-2025 Principal Leadership Award from the city of, on behalf of the City of Pompano Beach Education Advisory Committee. Congratulations. Yes, I believe we have the one of the assistant superintendents here with us from the North area, Dr. Jermaine Fleming.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and Commission, and all the City of Pompano Beach. As you can see, we have some of the finest educators, not only in the state of Florida, but in this nation. So just give them another round of applause. So on behalf of our superintendent, Dr. Howard Hepburn, in his absence tonight, I just want to just thank you all for your support of these educators. What you have represented here we have about close to 20 schools in the city of Pompano Beach, and this is one of our strongest partnerships with our municipality as well as the school board, and we have some of the finest schools in our district. So I just want to thank this commission for recognizing them today, and give them another round of applause. We did have one Employee of the Year that was a finalist for Employee of the Year for the district, Ms. Doku. She didn't think we were going to call her name, but step out, Ms. Doku, from Cresthaven. She was a finalist for Employee of the Year for the district. So we just want to make sure that we give them all of their due, and thank you to these two amazing administrators. Thank you guys so much.
All right, let's group together there in the middle a little bit. Come on, let's bring it in so we can get a group photo of everybody. Let's Education Advisory Committee and everybody, let's get in there. Also, I want to say thank you to all the principals and support staff that are here tonight supporting these wonderful teachers.
You're too short. I know, I saw the football team. It was the basketball team.
Where are your heels? Oh, she got my heels.
The basketball team was a problem.
You got to pull it in. You got to pull it in. Go.
Ladies.
Pull it in a little bit. Yeah, you gotta come on in. Come on in. Come on. You guys come on in too. Get a little tighter. Get tighter. That's okay, as long as you see the faces. Once you get settled. That's my expensive teacher. Yeah. Let me get out of here.
us one together. Somebody need to take us one together.
I know you was here.
Yeah. I'm so we be out here.
I want to make sure there's a reception for the teachers and employee of the year in the meeting room when you go out to the lobby to the left for the honorees and their families.
I also want to recognize Mr. Santana. Right. Let's get out there. Actuarial. All right. While those folks are still making their way out, next on our agenda, we've got the actuarial valuation report. I'm going to ask Pat White to come up and do the introductions. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I am Patricia White, your controller. I'm here to introduce Mr. Todd Green. He's from Kavanaugh McDonald Consultant, LLC. They perform the actuarial calculations for the Pompano Beach General Employees Retirement System. And Mr. Green is here tonight to present the actual valuation as of October 1st, 2024. Mr. Green?
Thank you very much. That work? There we go. So it's going to be tough to follow. Again, my name is Todd Green. I'm with Kavanaugh McDonald Consulting, or we go by CavMac now. So we did a rebranding over the summer. And I'm here to present the results of the October 1, 2024 valuation of the General Employees Retirement System. So.
Thanks, Max.
Thank you. Not good with this stuff. So, all right. So, to get started here. All right. So, to start off, the first few slides are just going to be education and kind of, why am I here? What's an actuary? Why does the plan need an actuary? So basically, the actuaries work in many sectors in the financial industry, but I'm a pension actuary. I work with public sector pension plans across the country, and basically the purpose of the actuarial evaluation is to determine or to fund. It's basically we come up with strategies and methodologies to fully fund pension plans, essentially. In order to do that, we have to measure the assets and the liabilities of the plan. So the assets, in this case, are the assets, the money that are set aside in the trust, and then the liabilities are the future benefit payments for all the participants in the plan. From that calculation, we come up with the annual required contribution to fund the plan. So basically, the city makes a contribution annually to the plan, and that is basically that money is set aside to accumulate with interest and meet the funding obligation over the long term. And then finally, we do some analysis from the previous year to the current year to determine, where were we and how did we get where we are today. So, because actuaries, we have to make a lot of assumptions. So, as actuaries, we have to make a lot of assumptions because we have to model retirement for everybody in the plan. So not only the people are retired today, but people are also working today who are not yet retired. And so the assumptions we make fall into, these are what I would call demographic assumptions, and they fall into three categories. So we have turnover, which is leaving employment prior to retirement. Once we have retirement, once somebody becomes eligible to retire, when do they retire? Do they retire immediately? Do they wait a few years after? And then finally, mortality. And mortality is...
It's an emergency alert. I don't know what it's for. Amber, yeah.
Okay, all right.
It's hard to turn
It's
those
not me,
off.
is it? So, and then mortality. Mortality is very important because once somebody starts to receive a pension, they continue to receive it until they die. And in terms of cost, the biggest factor in this plan is mortality because, for instance, if all of a sudden there was a major breakthrough in healthcare where everybody was living one extra year, that would be very expensive for a pension plan. And then the opposite is true. If you take away a year, that would be better for the plan, but not great for the members. The next set of assumptions we make are what I call economic assumptions. So salaries are important because it's a pay-based plan. It's a formula based on years of service times their final average earnings. So we have to model salary from the day somebody is working till the day that we anticipate their retirement date in the future. And then we have the discount rate. The discount rate is important because that is what we expect the assets are going to earn in the future, essentially. And so we discount all the future liabilities back using that discount rate. And so in terms of cost of the plan, the discount rate and the mortality assumption are the two biggest cost drivers of the plan. Everything else is typically offsets over time based on, if the assumptions are good. This is what we call the basic retirement funding equation. On the left-hand side, we have the contributions and investment income, and on the right-hand side, we have the benefit payments and expenses. I really like this slide here because you'll notice that the right-hand side is the liabilities. That's what we're here to measure. The left-hand side are the contributions. That's what we develop for you. And then you have the investment income that the fund is earning. Depending on how the market is doing, when you look at this equation, 60 to 70% actually comes from the investment income. So by pre-funding or saving in advance, you're reducing the cost of providing these benefits to the general employees by 60 to 70%. So if you think of Social Security, where there really is no investment income, you just have contributions and then you have the benefit payments on the other side. There's the government for Social Security is paying the full cost of those benefits, essentially. Whereas in your case, you're actually reducing the cost by up to 60 to 70%. So on the valuation date of October 1, 2024, we basically model all the future benefit payments for the plan. And this is what it looks like. So this is the liability side of the equation. The dark blue component on the bottom is current retirees, and the orange component are the active members who have not retired yet. So you can see that we are projecting the benefit payments to actually grow just north of $50 million and then finally decline ultimately to zero. So this we do not assume. This is only measuring the people who are on the plan on the valuation date. It's not taking into account people who would be hired 3 years from now or 5 years from now. So these next few slides are just going to summarize the data that we used in the calculation. So as of October 1, 2024, we had 570 active members and 511 retirees that are receiving a benefit on the valuation date. An interesting note here is that For your active members, the average age is 47 or 48 basically, and with 9 years of service. That means that you're hiring, your average hire age for your workforce is 39 years old. When I first started doing this in the 90s, governments and public sector were hiring people in their 20s, out of college. And now we're starting to see that it's more like second career type folks that are, and it's even true for teachers. The hiring age for new teachers is also, it's, comparatively, it's not in the 40s, but it's definitely closer to 30, which is, an interesting trend. Here we see the average salary and the average benefits. You can see the average pay on the valuation date was just under $80,000, and the average benefit is just over $36,000. And then we have the total payroll. So total payroll for everybody in the plan was $45.7 million, and we had total benefits for people in pay status was just over $16 million. So I'd just like to point out here is that part of the actuarial evaluation, and we are anticipating these future retirement benefits. So that slide I showed you, that bell-shaped slide, that is the future benefit payments of the plan. And this chart basically is going to reflect that, going forward in the future. So now I'm going to get to the assets. So that was the data that was used in the calculation, and that was what we used to project out the benefit payment obligation of the system. And then from there, we're going to compare it to the assets of the plan. So on the valuation date, we had just over $301 million in assets on a market value basis. As actuaries, we like to complicate things by using what we call actuarial value of assets, where we smooth in our gains and losses over a 5-year period. And what that does is it reduces volatility in the required contribution. And some people would think that, oh, you're hiding something. But in fact, if you were to earn the assumed rate of return over the next 4 years, which is 7.25%, that there would be nothing to smooth, and your market value and actuarial value would be identical. And you can see there below we have the returns since 2014 on a market basis, and basically the plan has earned just north of 8% since 2014. And then you can see, just to point out here too, the smoothing, you can see how the smoothing just takes out the peaks and valleys. So that's what I call looking at the 1,000-foot view, where we calculated the liabilities of the plan, and we compare that to the assets. Now, what does this mean for you in terms of actual cost or the funding of the plan? So at the top here, you'll see we compare the 24 to the 23 results. So the normal cost and the admin expense, that's the ongoing cost of the plan for the active members that are accruing benefits. From that, we take out the member contribution rate, so the members do contribute 10% of salaries towards this benefit. And what's left is what we call the employer normal cost of 16.11%. If the plan was fully funded, it would only cost the city roughly 16.11% of pay. This plan does have an unfunded liability, so there's an additional contribution to pay off that unfunded liability, and that's 25.36% of pay. And then we also have an interest adjustment because the calculation is determined on October 1, 2024, but it is payable on 12/31/2025. So there's an interest adjustment to adjust for the timing of when the calculation is done and when it's paid. And so when we get to the bottom there, you see that there's a total employer cost as a percent of pay is 46.66% of pay. We compare that to the prior year, and it stayed pretty level, didn't change that much. Now we show that in a dollar contribution basis. So the calculation last year was $20.3 million, and this year it's $21.6 million. So it's really just a function of salaries increasing from one year to the next for the increase. And then we see the unfunded liability went from $119 million to $123 million. And the funded ratio did improve from 68.7% to 69.9%. So So that's the calculation of the required contribution. Now, if you remember that previous, the first slide, we talked about experience, how did we get from the beginning of the year to the end of the year? So here's the change in the required contribution. So there was an asset gain because the assets did earn they exceeded the assumed rate of 7.35%. So that reduced our contribution by just over $241,000. We had an increase of $131,000 due to the way that the unfunded liability is, the payment is calculated. It uses a payroll growth assumption. This is something we're actually phasing out. We have stopped using it since 2017, and over time this number will get smaller and smaller. There was full amortization of some prior unfunded liability basis, so it means we paid off some portion of the unfunded liability, so that reduced our cost by $226,000. And then we had an increase due to just experience and mainly just the increases in pay from the prior year to this year. And then finally, we did have two changes since the prior valuation. So there was an assumption change for mortality, and basically this is mandated by the state, so this is something you have to do. And that did increase the cost by $688,000. And then we had an assumption change where we reduced the assumed rate of return from 7.35% down to 7.25%. And so that was an additional increase of $541,000. And so when you add those numbers up from the beginning to the end, you get to the contribution payable on 12/31/25 of $21.6 million. Any questions?
That's it?
I can keep going. I just want to kind of.
Why don't you go ahead?
Like they want to.
Go ahead and finish.
Okay, so here we have just the historical contributions. Going back to 2015, so you can see that we've had. So since 2016, we've had changes in assumptions, basically that have increased. We've been reducing the assumed rate of return from 8%. We're now at 7.25%. So when you reduce that discount rate, it does increase the cost. But that's an important change because we don't expect the assets to earn 8% anymore. So you want your assumptions to be grounded in reality, basically. And then, and then we did have a benefit improvement in 2021. That's reflected in the 23 fiscal year contribution. And since then, it's been steady, except for this year, you'll see the increase due to reducing to 7.25 and then the mortality change. So, and just to stress that the mortality change this time was really just an adjustment. We did change it 4 years ago, and it actually reduced liability. The mortality table reduced liability 4 years ago, and now when the actuary for the state, when they update their experience studies for the state retirement system, now they've added some of the liability back, essentially. So from a historical basis, there's our contributions. And then here you can see the funded ratio. It's been, since 2016, it's kind of held steady, and that's really just a result of, the plan and the assets have been doing well, but we've been reducing the benchmark, and so that brings down the funded ratio every time. So it stayed, it's stayed pretty steady since 2016, but that's really just a function of assumption changes. Here's the sources of the unfunded accrued liability. So 48 million of it is due to experience and gains and losses. So majority of that is due to market volatility. If you go back to 2001 and then the 2008 financial crisis, I mean, that's really the biggest sources of it. And everything to the left gets gradually smaller because you've almost paid those off, basically. With 30 million of it is due to assumption changes, so that's reducing the discount rate and changing the mortality table. And then there's a component of 46 million due to the benefit changes. And then finally we get to the last slide here, and I think this is actually a positive slide. So here shows the amortization schedule of your unfunded accrued liability. So absent of any changes to assumptions or anything like that, we expect that your contribution rate is, the payment is on the left side there, or left of the chart, and you'll see that we're just under 12 million, and we're expected to get, near 15 million. But then you can see the drop where we're expecting cost over, after 2030 to come down precipitously. And what also is good here too is that you can see that every year your unfunded liability is going down, and that means that the payments that are being contributed to the plan are actually paying off this unfunded liability. We're not, hoping investment return does it. So what that means to me is that your plan is in a very strong position. You're at 70% funded, and your funded ratio should start to improve dramatically over, after 2030. So, and, in the coming years. So, and then finally, this presentation is really just a summary of the actual October 1, 2024 valuation report. So refer to that if you have any other questions, if you want to see the details behind these things. And then finally, just the caveat there that I am a certified actuary, member of the Society of Actuaries, and I'm allowed to do this. So. So with that, that concludes the presentation. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to take them.
Very good. Thank you for that. Questions from the commission? Vice Mayor?
Just quickly, so is the way to summarize this this year, people are living longer. The mortality tables included an increase in life expectancy. The assets are expected to earn slightly less, and salaries are going up.
No, correct.
Okay.
Correct. Well, correct.
Okay. And is the 7.25 expected to stay stable?
So, yes, but ultimately the board adopts the assumed rate of return. So, from what I understand, yes.
Okay. And then the 2030, when we start seeing the reduction, is that the effect of the amortization of the benefit changes from 2021 starting to fall off?
Yes, because that will be fully paid off by
Okay.
then. So.
Okay. So that chart assumes no other, obviously, large benefit changes or anything else?
Assumes no changes, yes.
Thank you.
Very good. Further commission questions, discussion? Do you know, off the top of your head, well, or maybe you've got it with you, what for, say, the past 20 years, what was the rate of return on the assets, average?
So I don't know over the last 20 years, but since 2014, it's been over 8%. I would imagine it's north of the assumed rate right now. But we're not anticipating that to happen in the future, because if you take out the returns from like the 90s when they were, high 20s for multi-years in a row, we don't anticipate that ever happening again. So.
Okay. No, and I'm not trying to pin anybody down, but it's not unique to the general employees. I mean, the fire and police are doing the same thing. But so with a lessened rate of return assumption, we could actually benefit if we do better. If we keep it at 8%, or not we, if the board keeps it at 8%, we're in good shape.
Correct. So if you lower the discount rate, it does improve the chances of beating it.
Right.
Absolutely. So.
But it costs us, every time you guys lower that, it costs us.
Yeah, and just to tell you like where that's coming from, so it's the fixed income portion of the plan, right? So if we go back to the 90s, you could buy a 10-year T-bill and it was paying 9 to 10%. So back then, discount rates were all above 8%. And then you had the Great Recession of 2008. And so since 2008, assumed rates of return now have come down to, the average in the state of Florida, for instance, FRS uses 6.8%. And the average of the plans, all the municipal plans in the state are just under 7%. So now that same 10-year Treasury is only paying, 4.5%. So, so we're not, that's really the cost, that's what's driving the future expectations to go down. So you either, to be honest, it's like you either get ahead of it and pay it up front, or you don't and pay it later. And if you pay it later, you're going to be paying more because you'll pay more interest on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's,
Get it? Yep.
it's not something to, be because of the funding method, you're always going to pay for it because we amortize the losses, and so. But it's better to pay it up front than it is on the back end, because then you're paying interest on it.
Got you. Very good. Further questions, comments? Seeing none, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yes, there you go. Yeah, how often do you get applause? Very good. All right, that takes us up to audience to be heard. Do we have anyone signed up for audience to be heard?
Yes, Mayor. We have 8 speakers on the audience to be heard.
Very good. 8 speakers. Let's go.
Kevin Granville, followed by Vicente Thrower, followed by Lucas Fagetti.
Just before we get started here, I'd just like to say thank you to Mr. Granville for your service, sir.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Appreciate what you did for this community and, long time service.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I feel like I'm coming back home. It's a
Welcome back to
homecoming for me.
Pompano.
Right? Yeah. Thank you.
Have to put these on. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager, City Attorney, City staff, and residents of Pompano Beach. My name is Kevin Granville, and I am a retired major from the Broward Sheriff's Office and served as your Area 1 and Area 2 captain. I am currently the conference chair for the upcoming 49th Annual Training Exhibition Conference for the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, also known as NOBLE. NOBLE was founded in September of 1976 in Arlington, Virginia, during a 3-day symposium attended by African-American law enforcement executives representing over 50 major American cities to address ways to reduce crime in low-income areas. NOBLE has over 60 chapters and represents over 5,000 members worldwide. We want to thank you for the opportunity to speak and for your continued dedication and supporting initiatives that bring communities and law enforcement together. We are here to formally request permission to host the NOBLE National Memorial March in the city of Pompano Beach during our 49th Annual Training Conference, which will take place August 8th through the 12th, 2025, at the Diplomat Hotel in Hollywood, Florida. We respectfully request approval to hold the march from the E. Pat Larkins Community Center to the Hopewell Missionary Baptist Church on August 9th, starting at 8 a.m. This Memorial March is a deep, meaningful tradition for our organization. It is a moment to honor our fallen members, uplift our shared mission, and visibly show the unity of law enforcement executives from across the nation, marching together in uniform through the community. We anticipate approximately 1,000 to 1,500 participants. Pompano Beach has long been a supporter of NOBLE and has demonstrated a commitment to bridging the gap between law enforcement and the communities we serve. Given that history, we believe it is both fitting and symbolic to host this event in your city. We are asking for the city's support and resources to help make this possible, specifically law enforcement support for traffic control and street closures along the route, fire rescue and EMS support for the safety and emergency preparedness, and general coordination to ensure a smooth and respectful procession. In addition to requesting logistical support, we'd also like to extend an invitation to the city to become an official partner of our national conference. We have provided a donation and sponsorship packet for your review with opportunities to support signature events like our Women's Symposium, Youth Conference, and Civil Rights Brunch. 3 powerful events that uplift voices, history, and leadership. Your support not only helps us carry out this meaningful march, but also sends a powerful message to the broader public about unity, justice, and community partnerships. Thank you again for your time, your consideration, and your commitment to serving Pompano Beach and its residents. And at this time, I would answer any questions you may have. But I also just want to say to the residents that the South Florida chapter of NOBLE comprises of 5 counties here in South Florida. And Pompano Beach has long supported this organization and is the only city in our chapter that has given our chapter a proclamation. So I think for that, the residents should be very proud of the dais that you have up here working towards law enforcement and community together.
Thank you very much, Mr. Granville. Appreciate that. And like I said, appreciate your service. But as far as the coordination, all that, I know Mark Boudreau. Mark, raise your hand. Of course, you know Mark. If you can get with Mark,
Yes, sir.
For all the permits and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I commit to you and support this effort, of course. And I think probably everybody up here will.
Thank you, sir.
It's great to include Pompano Beach in these efforts, and that just puts us on the map
Yes.
even more.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Commissioners, go ahead, Commissioner.
Yes, I want to say thank you to Noble for considering Pompano Beach. I've been reading, and I like the work that you all do with Noble. It's good for our young kids to see you. And when you come to Pompano Beach, I'll make sure we have everybody available, standing on the side to watch you all in your march.
Thank you.
You will be ending at Hopewell, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so whatever I can do to help, I have met with you and a few people, and I'm very much on board. So hopefully the city manager, the commissioners, the mayor, we're all on board for this, and you have my support 100%.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Kevin, appreciate you being here. Next, appreciate it, thank you, yes. Longtime BSO, thank you for coming back to Pompano. Next speaker?
Vicente Thrower, Pompano Beach. Mayor, just real quick, how much are they asking for when we talk about support and their sponsorship?
I don't know yet, I just got it today.
Okay, well, Mayor, well, let's make sure we get back to that because, I'm a conservative. I'm gonna be honest about that right now. Mayor, on the agenda, we have item number 10 coming up. And I'm gonna wait for the family to talk about their item of the street naming, but I do want to point something out that Pastor Derrico talked to me today about. Mayor, I would like to respectfully request, and I spoke to the fire chief, that we do something to recognize the volunteer firefighters that were not registered firefighters but took care of the Northwest community under the leadership of his father and Mr. Thurston. And I would like for us to figure out how do we make some history about that because they took care of the Northwest area and put out fires when we wasn't getting a whole bunch of other people on the east side to do so. So, Mayor, with that being said, I would like to see and get this body support on trying to figure out how do we honor that legacy and figure out putting something on our website. And, Mayor, I'm going to be honest with you about something else. When you all stand up here and have all these big events and people are taking pictures, where is our camera people at that we pay with the expensive cameras that should be taking them pictures? I'm just curious about that. Where is the cameras? I get sick and tired of seeing people use their cell phones, and we paying a lot of money that we should have real camera people here, like Mr. Ellis or somebody, but taking pictures with cell phones when this is something that we should be putting on our website. We pay for real technology, and that stuff should be producing instead of y'all saying squeeze everybody together. If we had a real camera person standing out here taking them pictures, you wouldn't have to say squeeze everybody together. That camera lens would have caught that. Am I right or am I right? So, Mayor, I want to know when can we look at doing something for those who were our unsung heroes in the fire department? And I've already spoke to the chief, so I hope that there's something, Mayor, that we can do.
Well, sure. I mean, we can recognize all volunteer firefighters in Pompano Beach because I know there was right at the corner of Lions Park, there was a volunteer firehouse right there that served Lions Park previously. So yeah, it's across the city. I mean, it's
well, it went across the city for the African American firefighters. So I want to make sure that we get their names and actually do something because we're naming stations and stuff. But these gentlemen served and didn't get paid, and their families should know that their legacies are not in vain.
No, I understand. But we had other volunteer firefighters that patrolled Pompano Beach.
Mayor, still they didn't patrol the Northwest area.
Okay, that's
okay. Understand the difference?
I hear you. Okay, thank you. It's good. Commissioner Perkins.
Yes, I think it's very important for us to acknowledge the firefighters. I think we have a fire station in Carrier City, and that's where most of them worked out of that particular location. And this is not something we should take lightly. I think we should recognize those people that volunteered. It's a big difference in getting paid and volunteering. So we do want to recognize them. We do know that the fire station is occupied now. So perhaps we can say something to the people that have occupied the fire station, if they can do something to recognize them as well. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Next speaker? And while we're taking just a minute, I just want to also, to be fair to everybody, please refrain from any clapping and stuff like that. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioner. I just delivered to you a letter from Palmer Association number 10. By the way, sorry, Fagetti Luca, 4015 West Palmer Drive, Pompano Beach. And I delivered to you a letter from the Palmer Association number 10 declaring such an association completely against the Oaks project in Palmer. At the last CRA meeting, a longtime commissioner reassured that nothing nefarious was done by past commission. But how would you define the attempt by the city through its attorney to remove a master plan covenant that limits the development density in Palmer to the advantage of a foreign speculator and affecting more than 10,000 owners that purchased in Palmer, excuse me, because of the green space granted by the covenant? Where was the transparency and due diligence in informing the Palmer community of such attempt and the reason behind it? There's a lot of taxpayer money spent to show off nice renderings of projects to come, but obviously nothing was spent for bad things. And for those delighted at the view of nice rendering of future projects, please come and check the Cordish Light project, once defined as entertainment destination and now an industrial compound, certainly a daily destination for many trucks. Be aware that everybody aware that what we know is the estimated amount of taxes to be spent on the new projects, but certainly we do not know what will be our final bill and the final outcome. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Next speaker?
Tondra King, followed by Robart Kite, followed by Jackie Moreland.
Tondra King, 124 Northwest 15th Street, Pompano Beach. April 10th, I think it was April 10th or 11th, my brother had a medical emergency and collapsed in front of my mom's front door. And I'd like to say thank you to the amazing firefighters and paramedics that came and rendered services to my brother. He would have died out there if they hadn't responded when they did and did what they did. They literally saved his life so that once he was transported to the hospital, they were able to do what they did. But I just want to say thank you for my family and for my brother. He didn't even remember to dial 911. He actually called my sister while he was out there having severe heart pains. So I want to say, chest pains. I want to say thank you to Chief McGinnis and everybody else. I'm sorry I did not get their names, but whoever they were that responded to my mom's house that day. My mom was actually home. He didn't even make it to the doorbell to even try to get her attention. So I want to say thank you. I don't take for granted the difficult job that police and fire have to do. And so I wanted to come publicly to thank them for literally saving my brother's life. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, Ms. King. Next speaker?
Robart Kite, followed by Jackie Moreland, followed by Chris Levan.
Just name and address for the record.
All right. My name is Robert Kite. My address is 940 Southeast 4th Avenue, Pompano Beach. I've been a resident here for 25 years. I live on the water. I just wanted to quickly address the setback in the rear corner triangles.
No, that's on our agenda, so you have to wait until it comes up on the actual item.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
I thought it was odd.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker?
Good evening, Jackie Moreland, 1526 Northwest 7th Lane. I want to say thank you for answering my email, at least giving me a reply back. I appreciate that. So I await to hear and see how that's going to be handled in you know the email that I'm talking about. That was one. And then the second email, I thank you, Mr. Harrison, for responding as well, and just trying to follow up because the trucks are still there. The trucks are out of control on Northwest 15th Street. Like literally today, this morning, like it's a death trap. And I know your last email to me said that the city commission recently voted to significantly increase the fines for the trucks blocking the streets, and that you were copying the city attorney to see when this will be presented for commission adoption. But Mayor, I don't even know if that will help. I do see more BSO presence out there. I do see them out there. Coming from work today, I did see them out there. But the trucks literally was blocking the road because they have to wait before, I guess, they're allowed into whatever the business is. And they literally just block the highway at their, block the street at their convenience. So I really appreciate just the response and the diligence that you all are going to, I hope that you will do to get this resolved, to get us some answers to how this is going to be resolved, because it really is a problem in our neighborhood. And I'm still waiting on any input you can give me on the Braggs Criswell substation. I'm waiting, and I want to be a part of it, and I won't let you all forget about it. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Next speaker.
Chris Levon, followed by Nancy Robin. Okay. Nancy Robin.
Okay. All right. Recognize those shirts.
So Nancy Robin with Habitat for Humanity, 888 Northwest 62nd Street, and I'm joined by many of our homeowners as well as our homeowners-to-be, and I'm here, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney, to express appreciation just from the bottom of our hearts. At a time where homeownership is unattainable to 95% of our population, without you all participating the way that you have, it really would be impossible to achieve the American dream. And I'm not going to talk long because I want you to hear from one of our homeowners who's a school teacher, but I do want to say that we've been building for over 40 years in various municipalities, and you guys lead with so much heart on this issue. All of the city employees come out in droves. Commissioner, Mayor, you guys have rarely ever missed a dedication, if you have missed. Commissioner Eaton, we did some neighborhood revitalization in your area. So I thank you all for your public service and for making homeownership possible at a time that it really seems impossible. I'd like to introduce you to Petra Fraser Stone, who is a school teacher who I think we saved. We have about 50,000 applications a year. We really represent the workforce that lives here. Our number one applicant is the school system, closely followed by municipalities. So Petra, I know you wanted to express your appreciation as a new homeowner.
All right.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much. I'm probably the happiest person in this room that you will see tonight. I am a proud resident of Pompano Beach now. I am a school teacher at Cypress Elementary, and I've worked in Pompano Beach for the last 16 years. Now I'm very proud and happy to say thank you because I'm a resident of Pompano Beach. I teach where my children live, and I now have a home for my grandchildren and my daughters to live in. You guys afforded me opportunity to stay here. I did not want to leave. I didn't want to leave my family. I didn't want to leave Florida. This is where I belong. And I want to tell you how much of a difference you guys have helped to make in our lives and my fellow teachers who are here as well. Not only did you afford me the opportunity to stay here and teach here, but I recently took a leap and I'm now a proud business owner in Pompano Beach. I chose to open my business here because I'm a teacher. I see the need.
Go ahead. Well,
I see the need of my students and how much they need tutoring and the help that they need. Not only that, I teach the ESOL cluster. I have parents who want to help their kids, but they can't because they don't speak English. And I saw the need for that, and I just wanted to help. So I opened up my own business here, and I'm now the proud owner of Masterminds Learning Center. Not only am I going to be helping kids, but I'm going to be helping their parents in order to help them.
Wow.
Right now I teach first grade. They take stuff home, and they're teaching their parents, not only some of them how to read, but how to learn English as well. They come and they translate for their parents all the time through all walks of life, whether it is in the courthouse or about this city. But I just want to say thank you. And Mr. Mayor, you were at my home dedication. Okay, I thank you for being there. You may not remember, but that little hurricane who was raising HE double hockey sticks at that dedication, that was my granddaughter. And the first day, the first 3 days that we moved in, there was a rainbow outside my house, and she was twirling in her little dress out there. And I just want to say thank you, guys. And please, if you can continue to do the good work that you're doing for us, to allow teachers like me who want to stay here to stay here, please, if you can help Habitat in any way, because they have been our lifesavers through this whole housing process. We still have teachers leaving that should not be leaving, and we need them to keep on doing the good work that they're doing. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart.
very good. Thank you all. Appreciate and congratulations on the business. Yes. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming in. All right. Irvin?
That concludes the audience to be heard, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you for that. All right. That takes us up to our consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve items 1, 3 through 7, and 9?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Item number 2 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a revocable license agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and Broward County to use a designated portion of Alsdorf Park as a staging area for various construction projects, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. This item was pulled by Commissioner Fesick. Commissioner?
So, hi, thank you, Mr. Boudreau. I wanted to just briefly go over this because I'm sure that I would likely have some questions about this, being that the park is in the district and we have had some master park meetings lately. So I just wanted to afford you the opportunity to explain it in your own words so I don't just don't do it the wrong way. So thank you.
Good evening, Mark Boudreau, Recreation Director. So in my words, this is a simple agreement with Broward County. They're doing some of their projects, namely the Deerfield Island project and a couple other projects. They've been there for the past year. They needed to extend the agreement with some new projects coming online, and so we're simply extending the agreement.
Okay. And this is just basically, but this is something for a project that they are doing and not anything else, correct?
Correct. It has nothing to do with our city, another governmental agency, so we yield our support.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Very good. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion? Questions? Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier?
Yes.
Mayor Harton?
Yes, that takes us up to our regular agenda. Item number 10 is a consideration.
Consideration to dual name Northwest 27th Avenue, Reverend Evander Derrico Senior Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded for discussion. Mr. McCon.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. Rob McCon, Public Works Director. This asks you to consider dual naming Northwest 27th Avenue as Reverend Evander Derrico Senior Avenue. In the backup is some information, justification of why the name should be dual named after Reverend Derico. The street would be bound by Atlantic Boulevard on the south and Northwest 16th Street on the north. So if you approve this dual naming this evening, it'll come back to you at a future meeting as a resolution to formally make the change. That concludes my comments. I think there are some folks in the audience. Mayor, if you'd give them the opportunity to speak on.
Very good. This is public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Please come forward. Just name and address for the record. Good evening, Pastor.
Good evening, Mayor Des, Pastor Evander Derico Jr., 5310 Northeast 9th Terrace, Pompano Beach, Florida, 33064. I want to say three things. My first one is I want to read a proclamation that was given by Mayor Lamar Fisher. And it says here, whereas the mayor and city commissioners of Pompano Beach pay tribute to Reverend Evander Derico Sr., Pompano Beach resident and friend who passed away July 2nd, 2013. And whereas in 1944, Reverend Derico married his lifelong love, Bernice, with whom he devoted his life. They were married for 67 years and raised 20 children together. And whereas Reverend Evander Derico worked for the Lord early as chairman deacon of his church and the treasurer for the First Macedonian Missionary Baptist Association. In 1973, he organized Greater Community Missionary Baptist Church of Pompano, Inc., where he served as pastor for 27 years. Later, he became the president of the Ministers and Deacons Union, followed by being elected chairman of the board. And whereas throughout his life, Reverend Derico has given generously of his time and effort, faithfully serving his community in various capacities, too numerous to list, and supporting programs to benefit people of all ages and walks of life. And whereas Reverend Derico earned the respect and admiration and high regard of all with whom he came in contact with, and our community has sustained a great loss in his death. Now, therefore, I, Lamar Fisher, mayor of the city of Pompano Beach, Florida, on behalf of the city commission and residents of Pompano Beach, do hereby extend our sincere sympathy to the family of Reverend Evander Derico Sr. upon his passing, done this 13th day of July, 2013. Also, I have a picture of a plaque that was given to Reverend Derico, and it reads, Concerned Community, Inc., Outstanding Service Award, 1971, Mr. Evander Derico. The next thing that I want to say, I did some research and I found out something that I didn't even know, and that was back in the early 50s, this is exactly when Collier City itself was really built. And in 1952, now I don't know, I'm 76, so they built a strip club on Hammersville Road. They called it the Boast. Right now the name of it is the Booby Trap. Now right there where that strip club is today was 5 families You had the Derricos, you had the Dixons, you had the Perrys, you had the Carters, and you had the Wiggins. Now that's what I call the old Collier City area, which was prior to them building Collier City. Now, Mr. Wade Horn built Collier City. We were already there. So those 5 families is actually the first pioneers of Collier City. And through my research, I found that out, so I just wanted to give you all that, because I don't know whether you all knew that. But anyway, Pastor Derrico, Reverend Derrico, as we say, he worked the community as children. He had us out there knocking on doors, getting people to sign up for voter registration, getting petitions signed for sidewalks, getting petitions signed. We even went to Mr. Wade Horn to try to get that park, which was, they renamed it McNair, but it was Wade Horn Park to start with, because he gave it to us, and all of that happened. And it was under Reverend Derrico and this organization that they had out there in Collier City during the 50s and the 60s, which was the Concerned Community, which gave him that plaque in 1971. So he did great work for, he built churches. And if anybody that was back in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, there was a fuel station there, which was a fuel station that served gas. He bought that fuel station, turned it into a church, which the church is there right now, which I'm the pastor there now. But he was pastor there for 27 years. And the church on 2nd Street there, First Baptist, he built that. The church over there, hey, thank you, and I appreciate you letting me talk.
Next speaker?
That's for everybody, or?
No, sure, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and the city council members. My name is Queen Derrico Herbert. I was a business owner in the city of Pompano Beach, Queens Little Angels. I retired, and I still live in the city of Pompano Beach, and I am the 10th child of Reverend Evan and Bernice Derrico Sr. I'm here today to give you a little more information about Reverend Evan Derrico Sr. and why 27 should be dual named in his honor. Evan Derrico Sr. built his home in 1955 at 1281 Northwest 27th Avenue, Pompano Beach, Florida, and he lived there for 32 years. He was an active leader in the city of, in Collier City, community of Pompano Beach. He assisted in forming the fire department, which one of those guys was talking about, in Collier City area, and he was one of the first volunteer firefighters, along with James Thurston and others. He was chairperson of one of the city's voters registration movements, and his wife, along with some of their children, walked 27th Avenue and several other streets, going door to door, asking people to register and vote. Mrs. Derrico was quoted in the Sun Center newspaper on March 25th, 1984, quote, "When we moved here 23 years ago, my little girls used to help me when I walked door to door in Collier City asking people to register and then go and vote," unquote. My father was there alongside his wife and daughters. South Broward newspaper dated July 2nd, 1968 stated that Mr. and Mrs. Ebrana Derrico were civic leaders when they were complaining about the unpaved streets in Collier City, and at that time, and how they were a unsafe hazard. He was instrumental in getting the paved streets in Collier City, like my brother said, and other stuff. He received an award, and today there are several avenues and streets named after loved ones. To name a few is Northwest 16th Avenue, Robert L. Robinson Avenue, Northwest 18th Avenue, B.J. McCormick Avenue, Northwest 21st Avenue, Reverend Daniel Miller Avenue, Northwest 26th Avenue, Reverend John Mohan Sr. Avenue. Northwest 2nd Street, Reverend E.E. Graham Street. Northwest 2nd Street, Reverend E.E. Graham Street. Northwest 7th Street, E. Buck Phillips Street. And it's a lot of more. My father loved me.
Thank you. Okay, great. Next speaker.
I'm Reverend George Derrico, Emeritus, great New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, and I am the fourth child. And I stand here before this commission to let you know the legacy of my father, Reverend Evander Derrico Sr. He is, as they has spoken, the first president. I will bring it to date, but back there they didn't use this term, of concern community, up to date, they call it something else now. What we call it now? Well, anyway.
Civic Association?
Yeah, the Civic Association, yeah. And before there was houses all over Collier City, I can remember when there was the house spotted. No streets, no sidewalks. Children had nowhere to go to play. My father, Reverend Evander Derrico, went to Mr. Wade Horn and negotiated with him to give us a park. And Mr. Wade Horn gave us a building, and we set it on the east side of on 27th Avenue, where the new park is now. And we played with that building until they just got rid of it and gave us the park, built us a park across the street on 27th Avenue. My father instrumented the sidewalks that the children walking on now in the Collier City area. My father had the street lights put up in the Collier City area. And if we would like for this commission to give us the legacy of letting our father enjoy what the other families have enjoyed with their loved ones, with the name of 27th Avenue, with his name there, from Atlantic Boulevard to Martin Luther King Road. I mean, cross there, you know. We grew up there. That's where we grew up.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next speaker.
Hi. The essay is titled "The Continuous Legacy of an Unrecognized Black History."
Can you pull the microphone down a little bit? Yeah. There we go.
Provide your name.
My name is Jatasia Derrico. Every day, people who contribute to the progress of the Black community go unrecognized during Black History Month because they fall in the shadows of well-known figures like Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and Malcolm X. Black history is made up of a lot of unacknowledged heroes whose contributions aren't widely known, but are just as important. One person that I would like to highlight is my great-grandfather, Reverend Evander Derrico Sr. His ministry and leadership in Collier City, Pompano Beach, Florida, is a testament to the power of faith, education, and community service. His desire to meet the needs of all people, his advocacy for education, and his commitment to community progress makes him a person worthy of recognition during Black History Month. Reverend Evander Derrico Sr. always tried to meet the needs of his community through his many ministries and outreach programs. His church was more than a place of worship, it was a sanctuary for those in need. Through counseling, charitable initiatives, and being present for his community, my great-grandfather was the embodiment of selflessness. He was an advocate for helping young people. He worked as an ambassador for Florida Memorial University, where he helped many young people get undergraduate degrees. His impact can be seen in the advancements he helped bring to the area. He saw the need for safety and emergency response services, and he played an important role in forming the Kiosk City Fire Department and became one of its first volunteer firefighters. He was also the chairperson of the city's voter registration initiative, making sure that all residents exercise their right to vote. His leadership in the community led to unforgettable improvements like the paved streets, construction of sidewalks, installation of stoplights, building of many churches, and development of McNair Park, which enhanced the quality of life for residents. Black History Month is a time to honor individuals like Reverend Evander Derrico Sr. and those whose names may not be widely known, but whose influence has shaped the lives of many. His dedication to education, civic duty, and community development is an inspiration to all who remind us that change starts with us. Recognizing him during Black History Month shows that his contributions are never forgotten and that his legacy continues to inspire future leaders to serve their communities with the same passion and devotion.
Very good. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Any further input from the public?
To the dais, thank you. That's what we have.
Very good. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Any further input from the public? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns? No? Okay. Then let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes. Congratulations. Thank you. Very good. Item number 11 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a second amendment to the construction agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and Weekly Asphalt Paving, Inc. for asphaltic concrete pavement surfacing, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good evening, Mr. McCon.
Again, good evening, Mayor Commission Rob McCon, Public Works Director. This second amendment to the contract the city has with Weekly Asphalt Paving, Inc. is to extend the term of the contract. It expires this month. It'll extend the contract until April 30, 2026. All other terms and conditions of the contract remain the same. We use this contract primarily to implement our 5-year paving plan. That concludes my comments, subject to your questions or concerns. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Public input? Yep. Okay. I don't think you want to speak on this item. Very good. Are you coming forward, ma'am, or? No. Okay. Just taking. Okay. Very good. Public input closed. Commission discussion. Vice Mayor.
So obviously paving is very important. We spend a lot of time talking about it. Is this additional amounts, or this is just what for the next through 2026 to complete the plan? Or are we accelerating anything here?
Correct. This really, I would say it's almost not related to the funding at all. There is an amount there because that was what was in the original contract we signed 2 years ago. But the funding is completely separate, and realize this does cross over fiscal years. I understand the comments came up at the recent budget workshop when we will propose some increased funding in the proposed CIP that's going to be presented to you.
Okay. And I do believe this company has been in Garden Isles doing some work off of Southeast 3rd, where there was the sewer main that collapsed. So they've been repaving in the neighborhood there. And I did hear from at least one resident, and I've kind of seen it, that some of the, maybe they're not done, but I'd like you to take a look at the repaving work that they just did and let us know if that's, if they're done or if there's additional coats going on there, because it's a little wavy and maybe needs some more attention.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion. Commissioner Fezzik.
Sorry, I just had a quick question related to, so I understand the idea of extending the contract because obviously we would like them to continue to do work in paving our roads, which everybody, again, would love to see. How much has, I see the fiscal impact here, but have we have they been doing this for us, and how much have they accomplished? I was looking for the maps on this, and I know that there was going through 400 something pages. What is the timeline? And I guess I'm sure that's based on budget, but are they primarily the primary pavers that we have for our city at this point?
Yes, they are. There are other projects in the city that, for example, engineering may have another project that's separate of this 5-year paving plan. Also, the utilities department does, as we just, the vice mayor mentioned, and they will do paving as a part of that drainage project. But yes, this is not that say it's the only contractor we can use, but it is primarily used for implementing the paving plan.
Perfect, thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Sigerson Eden?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes. Item 12 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute work authorization number 1 in the amount of $291,914 for the intersection improvements to signalize the northeast intersection of MLK Boulevard and Northwest 18th Drive, pursuant to the contract for professional consulting services between the City of Pompano Beach and Calvin Giordano and Associates, Inc. for civil engineering services, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good evening, Mr. Seropoulos.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. John Seropoulos, City Engineer. This has been in the works for a few years now, so we're pleased to bring it forth to you. Broward County Traffic Engineering, they evaluated the intersection of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Northwest 18th Avenue and determined that signalization is warranted. And as a condition of their approval, we will be also designing for a northbound right turn lane on Northwest 18th Avenue. So this agenda item is for engineering design, regulatory permitting, and bid prep docs by Calvin Giordano. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion.
Yes, Mayor.
Commissioner Perkins.
This is a very welcome project. We've been working at this for the last 4 years, trying to get this traffic light there. Presently, it's a pedestrian signal,
Correct.
and we've had quite a few accidents there. So this is very much needed because they're in Golden Acres. By the end of the year, they will have a new development coming there, so will be more traffic in that intersection there. So once you start, will there be any road closures for this?
No, this is just for the design right now and the regulatory permitting, so no road closures at this time.
Okay, but no flow of traffic, no cones, no any of that at this point?
No.
Okay, all right. So if we ever should get to that point, would you let me know ahead of time so that we
Sure
can
will.
let surrounding people know about what's going on there?
Yes, ma'am.
Great, thank you.
Very good. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I just want to say, I know how difficult it is to get these things accomplished, so I'm excited for this also and for the residents out there. I'd like us to continue looking at the pedestrian signal at Southeast 9th Street and Cypress Road, see what we can do there. Also, because with the increased traffic on Cypress, if we're looking at that now, I know that even if it would be years and years and years before something would happen. So given how long these projects take, it's, I think, important to keep that one on the radar too, and I'm happy that this one's happening.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Sigerson Eaton?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes. Item 13 is a second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a lease agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and PB Kiosk LLC for the city's beach concession kiosk located at 20 North Pompano Beach Boulevard, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good evening, Ms. Lamassier.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners. Cassandra Lamassurier, Real Property Manager for the City of Pompano Beach. There have not been any changes since the first reading. However, I do need to make a correction to an error that was in one of the slides on my presentation deck. I had stated that the existing kiosk square footage was 451 square feet. That actually was the square footage of only the food service area, and it didn't include the square footage of the restrooms. So our existing kiosk is actually 551 square feet.
Okay,
So I'm available if we have any questions, as well as Mr. Mouchakis, the tenant.
very good. Thank you for that update. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Please come forward, just name and address for the record.
My name is Christopher Lavin, and I'm a business owner in Pompano Beach, Florida, and have been for 10 years. I have several businesses here in the city. About this particular number 13, I have a restaurant up in Pompano off of between Sample and Copans on Powerline. It's a juice, organic juice and vegan restaurant, as well as we serve chicken and eggs and some other items that we put on the menu. I guess my big thing is I was never made aware that this was available on the beach until one of my friends had come in and told me that, hey, listen, you should probably do some research and see if there'd be availability for you to put something down there. So this is the first time that I was coming forward to talk to anybody to see if there's any way that we could be notified about these things, that we could participate in this.
I know that there was a notification procedure that took place. Would you care to just explain what process we use for that?
Sure. Well, not required by the procurement code, the city, because of the prominence of the location, issued a request for proposals, and that request for proposals was advertised twice in the Sun Sentinel. It was also posted on the city's website, and then for those that had registered in the city's electronic bidding system that were under that commodity code type, 121 notices were sent out to those. So as I said at the last meeting, and I always encourage anyone that's a Pompano Beach business owner, go to the contracts and procurement webpage, and there is an option to register as a bidder in the city's electronic bidding system, and it's free of charge, and that's the way you get noticed when the city issues solicitations, because I know not everyone's probably reading the classifieds in the Sun Sentinel. So that's why I always tell everyone, because we can only notify those that are actually registered in the system and do that legal advertisement, but that's the best thing anyone as a business in Pompano can do that might want to do business with the city.
Right, so I registered Juice Pharmacy on the e-bid for the city.
So is that, the solicitation was actually issued back in February of 2023?
This was recently.
Oh, okay, so,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
well,
fine.
good. So if we have any other opportunities that might work for you,
Oh, okay,
definitely
not a
notice
problem.
you.
All right, thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Any further speakers? Public input on this item? Seeing none, Mr. Mouchakis, would you care to say anything, or just very good. Thank you. All right, commission discussion, questions, concerns. Commissioner Fesick?
Well, I want to thank, there were a lot of people who reached out. There were some concerns that I received before this, even, as soon as this showed up on the agenda the first time. And then, of course, I've gotten an email from one of our other developers in the area who did most of the beach area, and he informed me something along the lines that there may have been some issue with their contract and what was allowable in that space, and that he had no prior knowledge. And so there's some confusion there related to what would be allowed versus what would not. And he sent over pages of his contract. I believe he copied Mr. Berman. So that was one thing. I know that I had personally heard from residents when, this is, my goodness, a while back, at one of the ECRA meetings, that this opportunity was there. However, when people reached out, they said it was already a done deal. So so I've heard from residents that were concerned about the business opportunity first, and I think I brought that up the first time related to technology. We have all of this amazing, outreach going on currently, where we're reaching thousands upon thousands of people. And so what I'd like to see in the future is that same thing, whether it be an e-bid possibility or not, but that any opportunity should be going out to as part of our newsletter, not just to the select people that have already signed up for e-bid, because I think a lot of people didn't know that existed. So that's portion one of this. The second portion is I heard a lot from residents residents in that area specifically have been subjected to quite a bit of construction, and they will be subjected to it yet again. And while we absolutely love everything that has been done by the beach, and we absolutely love Mr. Mouchakas and the restaurants that he has, there have been some concerns about the fact that that would be the third restaurant or the third restaurant on the beach. And residents have voiced concerns, not just that it would be or appear to be sort of monopolized, but also that they would really like to have that stay available to them and would really like a very simple grab-and-go option. When you're adding the area, and even though there'll be beautiful bathrooms, I'm sure, and an additional, I'm sure it'll be a beautiful restaurant, the issue is that we're also taking away additional public space for the park, no matter which way you slice it. And so that was yet another concern that I heard from residents, where we seem to be continually developing parks in our city. And while I appreciate everything and it's a beautiful design, I've just heard in droves and droves and droves from all different angles that people are very concerned about what this looks like. And and there were only 4 applicants. That to me is, in a city this large, 4 applicants for a beachfront property opportunity. That's I think the part that gets me the most. So I have very real concerns about this, and I had some people who did not want to be a public speaker, but they did voice their opinions, and there was a lot on social media that I did read, and I got a lot of private text messages and emails and conversations about this. So I just wanted to make sure that I got that all on the record, that I have been listening, and I do have some concerns. Thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Commissioner Segerson-Eaton, followed by Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. So, yeah, I saw a lot of traffic on social media as well. And I just want to reiterate or just go over for the public, those watching, and any more information. This is a grab and go. This is not an inside sit-down restaurant. So, and the applicant is going to build a brand new building at a cost of approximately $2 million with brand new bathrooms, a new kitchen, and this was an old storage shack that was converted, and it's a great idea, and this was all geared to be grab and go for families and kids. Come get chicken nuggets or a cheeseburger or soda or whatever in their bathing suits and towels, and sort of sit outside. Is that what I'm understanding? That and then they're gonna pay us rent?
Yes.
For 20 years and pay us a portion of the proceeds from the sales of the restaurant.
Correct.
That sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Thank you.
Very good. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. We hear from a lot of people who come up here and speak, not just this bid process, but other ones, that they didn't know that something was available or they didn't know about the opportunity. So it does strike me that we should be leveraging our social media a bit more. Maybe we need some kind of campaign trying to promote to local businesses to ensure that they're registered in the system, because our social media is pretty active with, pretty renderings and pushing other projects. I think this is a good example of something that we should tackle through social media also, and try to ensure that we don't have people coming up later saying they didn't know about things. So let's use that, or try and maybe start a campaign if we can to add some value for people so that they can get registered and be aware of these opportunities in the future. Thank you.
Good suggestion. Commissioner Smith.
Playing on to Vice Mayor's comments, might be a good press release for Sandra King to send out about the e-bid process, and those of us that have electronic newsletters to put it in our newsletters so we can let our constituents know.
Very good. All great suggestions. Commissioner Fessick.
So, and again, like I said, I want to make sure that I'm clear that I love the idea of it being a grab and go. That's great, but I think a lot of people were concerned about the additional square footage being utilized with a new building, so that, and the amount of time it would take for this to be operational again. So that's a secondary portion of that, but we've got a lot of construction going on, and that is a very busy area in our city. The other thing I'd like to mention is that the pictures that were shown in the last reading of this and the slideshow that was shown highlighted the fact that this had outlived its purpose. And I had some concerns about that, so I asked to see it. And the building itself is not in, I mean, it needs basically some work, of course, like anything else does, but it's on the beach. It's subject to all of the, the salt air. And so I'm familiar with, I think that there was rust, of course, and needs a new paint job, needs a new countertop, needs, it needs love. But again, at the same time, does it require, the EBID problem, the EBID that went out said it required a minimum of $100,000 investment in the property. And I appreciate the $2 million offer here, but if sometimes it's one of those things, if it ain't broke, don't fix it too much, right? Like, we invest in the area, yes, get the money, get our money from what it is, but I would love to see this in a smaller scale, potentially same applicant. I have really just some larger concerns overall, but thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik?
No.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes, thank you. Item 14 is a second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 155 zoning code of the Pompano Beach Code of Ordinances to reduce certain restrictions to development within rear yard corner triangles by amending Section 155.4303 standards for specific accessory uses and structures to modify the standards for a gazebo by amending Section 155.5203 landscaping to apply general landscaping requirements to plants maintained within a rear yard corner triangle by amending Section 155.5302 fences and walls to eliminate requirements for standards related to rear yard corner triangles adjacent to waterways and modifying requirements pertaining to seawalls, and by amending Section 155.9301 rear property line as related to measurements to remove reference to rear yard corner triangles as a measurement for rear property line when abutting the historic dune vegetation line, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Mr. Weems.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Max Weems, Principal Planner in Development Services. This is a second reading of an ordinance. There have been very minor changes to the ordinance in the backup, so I'll just quickly summarize what those are. This graphic that was included in the ordinance within this text that was struck has been added to the struck text appropriately, and then this highlight right here from the to that, that was in response to a change that was requested to us by a representative of the Marine Advisory Board, and that was the direction that I received from the legal department. That summarizes the changes, and I adopt my presentation from last 2 weeks ago.
Very good. Mr. Bourbon, do we need to adopt those changes or anything?
As amended.
Just as amended, okay.
Motion to approve as amended.
So that'll be the motion, okay. That's, okay.
We make the motion to approve as amended.
Okay. And there's a second for that as well? Second. Very good, okay. Thank you, Mr. Weems, appreciate it. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? This is the one. Yep, come forward. Just name and address for the record.
Elaine Jenkins, 170 Southeast 13th Street.
Get a little closer to that. A little closer so we can hear you.
Oh, Elaine Jenkins, 170 Southeast 13th Street. I just wanted to say that all the tikis, chikis, and gazebos, they all are on legs, which means that they are not blocking the view. You can see through any way you're looking. Second, last time in the last meeting, it was brought up that people are saying they have to walk all the way to the seawall to look at the waterways. Well, that's not exactly true because every water is different. So from our house, you actually, no matter where you stand, you cannot see your waterway. You actually have to walk all the way to the dock to see the sides. So that's not an issue. And then one more, it's more like a question. Are commercial buildings under different rule? They don't have to have 25-foot side triangles like restaurants?
Yeah, commercial has different zoning requirements and things of that nature. There's
So
no
they-
site visibility triangle for commercial, right?
Well, that's correct. The site visibility triangle, site visibility triangles apply to all properties that are abutting the waterway. So any residential, commercial would be affected.
So let's say Houston's has a huge giant wall on a side and the whole front is with 6-foot bushes, but we are having issue with side triangle on residential places.
That's interesting. I don't, Mario, you taking notes back there?
So are many other commercial buildings who have actually, if you take a boat out, look at the waterway, there are high-rises where they have parking covers all the way to the seawall. So, all right, that's it. Thank you.
Very good, thank you, appreciate that. Next speaker, just name and address for the record.
I want my 5 seconds back from
You get full 3 minutes.
Robert Kite, I live at 940 Southeast 4th Avenue. So a water lot on there, and I guess the question before the commission, the commissioners today is, there's obviously a problem here. This is why this amendment is on here. I've lived on the water for 25 years. The sight lines have slowly evolved over that time period. They're not much different than they were originally. The tiki huts have not provided any line of sight issues. Hedges have come up. People like the privacy they're getting from that as well. So I guess the situation comes down to what kind of solution is there? The status quo is probably not a good answer because you're not addressing any of the issues, and I don't think Pompano Beach needs to put their building department in between themselves and the residents because, they're going to be, it's going to be the biggest tear down, project in Pompano Beach history. If you're asking people to deconstruct things that they've spent thousands of dollars on, landscaping that has just grown up naturally as well as artificially planted there. So, it could literally cost residents millions of dollars to deconstruct some of the things that are there. And they beautify the areas. You do not have a groundswell of complaints from any of the residents on the water about these sight lines. And, I just think that if by opening up this zoning requirement or say eliminating it, you're actually giving all of the residents something. You're giving them more usable space on their property. The few people that may have an issue with it, that they feel like maybe a sight line is slightly impeded, they're actually getting that same advantage that the other residents are getting as well. So instead of looking at this in a way that you're taking away somebody's line of sight, I think you're giving all the residents who are impacted by this more usable, livable space. And I think it's, it puts the city on it avoids a huge conflict that would potentially be coming between the residents and the building department and yourselves as well. So that's what I'd like to say about it.
Very good, thank you, sir, appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Next speaker, just name and address for the record.
Ivan U6, 361 Southeast 3rd Court. To follow up what he was talking about, the advantages of removing the triangle improves property utilization. Homeowners would gain the ability to fully use the rear yard's function and aesthetic enhancements instead of being constrained by these outdated zoning policies. Supports outdoor living. We live in South Florida. The reason being here is for the outdoors. And if you look at this right now, a lot of them are out of code. So if you did go and you'd have to, tear them down, you'd cause conflict, like he was mentioning. By getting rid of this, it's going to support more tikis, outdoor kitchens, livable, enhancing livability outdoor space. It also, more importantly, it's going to boost property value. More property value, more taxes, help you fund all the projects you want to do. Also, the unfunded liabilities from your pensions, help that out. There's no public safety risk with this. Unlike the front yard, the rear yard, there's nothing it's going to affect in that area. Increases design flexibility. Because right now, if you have a pool and your house happens to be further back, you're restricted because of that triangle, which really decreases your ability to do what you want to do. Promotes fairness across properties. If you look at properties that don't live on the water, or even like the lady mentioned earlier, like Houston, some of these commercial properties, they have their stuff built closer to the water. Whereas if you have a property that's not on the water, you can build in that triangle. The disadvantages of it, if we don't do it, you know, the outdoor livability, it really infringes on that. Suppresses property value. It also gonna make people have to go around without doing the permits and so forth, which is gonna cause issues down the road and so forth, which we don't. So I'm all in favor of it. Talked to a lot of residents, they're all in favor of it. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Further input from the public? Please come forward. Name and address for the record.
Don Smith, 170 Southeast 13th Street. Having really looked into the seriousness of this and going up and down the water, you will have to take out hundreds and hundreds of objects in people's backyards if you start enforcing this. This site triangle's got to go. The way it's written, people would be able to put plants up, and it's going to be a worse problem than just to leave it alone the way that it is. Let us do what we need to do in the backyards, and don't legislate morality. You're opening yourself up to an incredible discrimination. 14th Amendment, you can't do to one what you don't do to another. And to stop the few of us that have got a problem at the second without affecting everybody else, you're really opening yourself up for problems. Just let it go, pass it.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Further input from the public? Just name and address for the record.
Frank Pelle, Northeast 28th Avenue in Pompano Beach. I like numbers. There are approximately 3,200 residential waterfront properties in the city. Two-thirds, or over two-thirds, or 2,200 are in violation right now. If you look at 2024, and we have approximately 2,200 violations, guess how many citations have been issued? 5. 5 citations, which means 5 residents complained about a neighbor or complained about the fact that people have constructed fences, or they constructed tikis, or they constructed plants. The majority of the non-compliant properties are landscaping. Last meeting, there was talks of plastic fences going up. Most of it is landscaping. It's bushes, it's trees that people have in this triangle. There was a comment, is the easement by operation of law? I'm unaware of any law other than riparian rights that pertain to this. Your riparian rights are to wharf out, to be able to access the channel, swim, fish, and a view. Your view extends out your riparian lines, and in our city, the riparian lines are primarily your property lines going straight out. It's not across your neighbor's property. That's pretty much it. I believe the waterfront community here is pretty clear in what they're looking for. Please pass this. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Further input from the public? Nobody else? Going once, twice? Okay, public input closed. Commission discussion. I've got Commissioner Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Not living on water, and in District 5, we don't have anybody that does live on water. But I did get a very detailed email from Chris Zermine, and he has some valid concerns about removing the triangles. And I would like to postpone the approval of the second reading, so I have an opportunity to do some research and go out on properties and see what they're talking about, because I have never been on the back of a property that's on the water.
Okay, is that a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we postpone the second reading of 25-210.
Second.
So let's postpone until our next meeting, which would be, what's the day of the next meeting? Anybody? I'm sorry?
May 13th.
May 13th. So that would be your motion to postpone until the meeting of May 13th?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to postpone to the meeting of May 13th. Just out of curiosity, Max, is there any urgency on this?
Not from staff, no.
Okay. I know but I think there is some code enforcement issues happening out there, but I'm sure the special magistrate, realizing where we're at on this, would probably give flexibility, right? Yes, I would think so. Okay, so it doesn't create any problems that way. So it's been moved and seconded to postpone. Any commission discussion? Let's, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Opposed?
Okay, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik.
Sorry, are we calling the roll for the motion?
This is on the motion.
On the motion, no.
No.
Postpone. The motion to postpone.
Yeah, this is the motion to postpone, yeah.
Can we back up to discussion?
Yeah.
So I think there was some confusion here.
Okay.
So, I guess it's important to understand.
I've been asked to reopen discussion, like commission discussion. Go ahead.
Thank you. I mean, I think it's important to understand that there's been over a year of work done on this. I've had numerous community meetings and with well over 100 people attending them, and there are occasionally dissenting voices. And as I said at the last meeting, most of those dissenting voices, when I go to their backyards, I point out everything in their yard that's actually illegal and tell them how this is actually going to help them. So I appreciate you, yes, you wanting to learn more about it. And I guess I'm going to ask you, if we don't postpone it, are you changing your vote?
I want to do research before I make a vote on this.
Well, so I understand that, but if the motion to postpone it fails and we so
Well, then we'll just vote.
right, but then we end up in a situation where
Oh, that happens.
okay, thank you.
Since we're still in discussion, I mean, I'll just throw this out there. It's like, for a non-time sensitive issue, yeah, I don't see any problem with postponing it. But I don't know, I'm just one person, so I'm gonna support postponing. But
So I just wanted to go back to the discussion portion. So that actually is the reason why I wanted to make sure it was clear. So this has been something that these cheekies, tikis, this is sort of a two-part, right? This is where we are raising the height of them as well, as this is the second part? Or did we already approve that one, right?
No, that's in this
The same one, that's what I believed. Okay, right. So
allow
we're
for-
getting tied up on the things together, but this also applies to cheekies or tikis, which we have lumped now into a different title, I guess, I don't know. And so even for non-waterfront properties, correct? So that there's certain the heights have changed or the height allotments have changed?
Right, so you can still have a cheeky hut constructed by licensed native member. But the change is to allow a tiki hut to a comparable height. And what that eliminates is the conflict between a cheeky hut that may have been converted into a tiki hut, either intentionally or unintentionally, now having those be equal heights. When that conflict does arise, it's not an automatic violation requiring them to reduce their structure by 5 feet for compliance.
Right, so this also applies to non-waterfront properties, providing those cheeky tikis are within the setbacks that are required for the other properties, correct?
Yes.
Commissioner, this is discussion on the motion to
Okay, so,
postpone.
no, this is, I wanted to clarify because this would potentially affect her in her district, even with a non-waterfront property, if there were these things. So I appreciate that there are, on the waterfront properties with the site triangles, many people are talking about how, one, compliance issues have become a problem, 2,200 out of 3,200 properties. I have received a number of emails about the fact that some people were required to take their things down. Just give me a moment, and thank you, and I understand. So, but this is part of the motion, because it.
No. The motion is to postpone. I mean,
Right.
we can discuss the guts if we don't postpone.
I don't need to get into the guts. I want her to, she said she wants to understand, and I'm trying to explain that so that she can feel confident. If you still need more time after this, I'm more than happy to give it to you, just so you know. But I just would like you to know that I did receive an overwhelming amount of support related to this. And if you feel strongly that you need, based on one email, to take time, I'll give it to you. But I would just strongly urge you to make sure, and I would also ask the special magistrate to give them lots of room. Thank you.
Very good. Further discussion on the motion to postpone. Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
No.
Commissioner Segerson Eaton?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes. Very good. Item 15 is the second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance, excuse me, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 155 zoning code of the Pompano Beach Code of Ordinances by amending Section 155.2411 tree permits, Section 155.2421 administrative adjustments, Section 155.5203 landscaping, and Section 155.5204 tree preservation to clarify and introduce landscaping industry standards and best practices and incorporate statutory requirements, and by amending Section 155.5204 tree preservation to create a new subsection regulating coastal dune management and preservation, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion.
Mayor? Mr. Mayor, I'd like to see if I could call for a separate vote on this item. Maybe that's not the right terminology, Mr. Berman.
I knew what you were trying to do. I could let you know that, but I don't know what that means.
Sure. So the reason for that is because, as Commissioner Sigerson said at the last meeting, it was she would prefer to separate the two, and I looked into this more, and creating a new subsection with a completely different coastal dune management section plus, it's not really the same. They're sort of being lumped in together, and I went back and I looked more at the documentation provided, and I did agree with her that I would prefer to have these separated, and so that each one be considered divided, I guess, is probably divide the ordinance into two separate parts, and just keep it on the agenda.
Well, when we prepare an ordinance, we follow Chapter 166, and that requires that the subject matter be the same. There not be different subject matters get different ordinances. Here, though, it all deals with landscaping and Section 155. It's not just the same section of the code, but it also deals tree preservation, and also dune management is also part of the landscaping code, or part of the code. It's very similar.
Right, but it's creating a new
related.
subsection.
If the commission wants me to separate these into two separate ordinances, I'm happy to do so.
I'd like to make a motion to separate them then. So,
I'll second.
Okay.
thank you.
But it's,
We got discussion on the motion to, no, but before we
It's the
go to
process.
discussion, so should we just strike this? Is that what we should do?
We could strike and bring it back, yes.
Okay.
Although this has been,
Strike with-
I guess this has been advertised now for second reading.
It has, yes.
So we would have to strike it. I'll separate it. We'll have first reading, and then we'll have to advertise again.
Right.
The two separate ordinances.
Okay, so then the motion would be to strike this item and give direction to staff on what you just.
Well, would it be or would it be possible to just separate them since we've already had them, or no? If not, that's fine. Then I'm okay with amending my motion.
Okay, so yeah, why don't you go ahead and,
Okay, I'll amend my motion to strike and separate these into two separate agenda items.
very good.
Second.
And that was second. And Mr. Berman, do you have enough information at this point, or do you need more direction on what is being looked for here?
Well, I just want to be clear that the coastal dune management and preservation is what you want separated. Is that correct?
Right, the subsection.
Yeah, we're good. Thank you.
Okay, good. I've got Vice Mayor. Are you?
I'm good.
You
I just wanted to clarify the process,
Okay,
which we
very
did.
good.
Thank you.
I've got Commissioner Segerson Eaton.
Okay, I just wanted to make the point that I'd like to see more of the incorporation of the Florida statutes, 163.045, because I don't feel like it's addressed anywhere in our ordinances. So with that in mind, if you wouldn't mind, thank you.
That's a little more direction, okay. Okay, very good. So it's been moved to strike, been seconded with some direction to staff. Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson Eaton?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes. Item 16 is the first reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 155 zoning code of the Pompano Beach Code of Ordinances by amending Section 155.3703 Atlantic Boulevard Overlay District by expanding permitted uses in the district, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Once again, Mr. Weems.
Good evening, Max Weems, Principal Planner and Development Services. This is a text amendment. Oh, right. A staff-initiated text amendment to introduce two uses that are already permitted in our code as permitted uses within the commercial districts of the Atlantic Overlay District. This came about that we got an application for a use that we felt was appealing and serving for the district. However, we had to deny it because the parcel was zoned B2, although it's a rather small area of the Atlantic Overlay District. The B2 district generally in the city does not permit the uses that we're talking about here today. So what we're trying to do is say within the Atlantic Overlay District, these particular uses can be permitted regardless of the commercial-based zoning. The AOD, the subject district that we're talking about, is intended to be a center of activity for residents and visitors alike. And the standards that we create here are intended to stimulate economic revitalization, create pedestrian-friendly environment, and encourage the beautification of the beach, so on and so forth. On the map there, that's a clip of our zoning map. The yellow line is an outline of the Atlantic Overlay District boundary, and then within that area you can see the light pink color, which represents the B2 commercial areas. Those are those commercial areas that would be affected by this amendment. So as I was saying, in the AOD, we have a series of modified use standards. Throughout the city, we have general use permissions in a B3 zoning district, B2 zoning district. However, there's some uses that have modified standards for the Atlantic Overlay District. Those include hotel, consignment boutique, mixed-use development being permitted, brew pubs, and medical offices. And what we're proposing to add is a museum and other indoor commercial or membership, recreation, or entertainment use in the commercial-based zoning districts. So as I was implying previously, this really only affects the B2 areas because those uses are already permitted in the other commercial districts of the Atlantic Overlay District. Okay, so about those proposed uses, I say proposed because they're not new uses to our code. They do exist within the city and they are already defined within our zoning code, but they would be new to those small B2 areas. The museum is I think we're all familiar with what a museum is, but as it's defined in our code, is a facility serving as a repository for a collection of natural, scientific, historical, or literary curiosities or works of art that is arranged, designed, and intended to be viewed and studied by members of the public with or without an admission charge. Accessory uses include office and storage facilities used by staff, meeting rooms, and may include limited retail sales of goods, services, or products such as prepared food to patrons. Now that alone would cover the use that kind of brought about this change. However, it also felt appropriate to incorporate the other indoor commercial or membership, recreation, or entertainment use. This is kind of a catch-all for other indoor entertainment uses. Examples include health or fitness spas, centers, spas, gymnastics facilities, and dance halls. I just want to clarify that a dance hall is not a nightclub. That is a separate defined use in our code, which is also already permitted in the B2 zoning district. That was a question from the P&Z, so I figured I should clarify. This has been reviewed against our text amendment review standards and has been found to be compliant with those standards. And therefore, that concludes staff presentation. There is a representative of a business that would benefit from this change that is in the audience. Should you have questions from them, they are available.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Please come forward. Just name and address for the record.
Hi, good evening. Tim Hernandez with Pompano Beach Fishing Village, 290 Southeast 6th Avenue, Delray Beach. So we're the ones who kind of suggested that they talk to the staff about this. But as we've learned a little bit more about this, we expressed some concerns about this proposal. The first is that, and they got a staff opinion from Max that basically said if they're largely doing interior improvements, it doesn't necessarily trigger the same standards that new construction would. So in other words, and I can show you this picture, which I'd like everyone to see, the initial proposal that they provided to us for this building is this. And we do not believe.
But before you can show it to us, but you need to go back to the microphone. Let's keep talking.
And we didn't feel, given the 15 years and literally tens of millions of dollars that we've invested in the fishing village, that this would be appropriate at our front door. So we reached out to them. They did meet with us today and came up with a whole new set of designs. However, the issue that we find is that if you make this a use that's permitted by right, which is what the proposal is, you can't hold them to any kind of design standards that are commensurate with the investment and the standards that we've held ourselves and our tenants to in the fishing village. So we're just simply suggesting that you make this a special exception use. You can allow it, and that way it will allow you to impose standards on them that are the design standards that we and our tenants had to abide by and voluntarily did with respect to architecture, landscape design, site development standards, site lighting. I mean, we spent a lot of time and effort carefully curating the uses and the look and the family-friendly nature. And I would also suggest that by making this a permitted use by right, I would suggest you look at the type of what museum that's being proposed in Miami Beach right now, okay? It's a museum, but it's not necessarily the family-friendly type of museum that we want to see in the fishing village or adjacent to the fishing village at our front door. So my suggestion is, let's take some time, let's get this right, let's make this a special exception use, let's get Mark involved, and let's do this right so that we don't diminish the investment that we've made in this area.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Further input from the public? Please come forward. Just name and address for the record.
Vicente Thrower, I support staff's recommendation, Mayor, and I think it should move forward just as is. Because for the record, we made the investment as the people of Pompano Beach. I don't know what investment he done made since he done been a developer here.
Very good. Further input from the public? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. I've got Commissioner Fessick, then Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
So I have looked at the planning and zoning meeting. I went back and reviewed that so that I could see what was being presented, as I felt that was helpful to have more questions answered and ask more questions. I would have to agree with Mr. Hernandez in terms of we have celebrated the amazing design work we have done in the beach area, both as a city and a CRA. That has been our prize jewel of Pompano Beach, if you will. And I would absolutely support a unique business opportunity like this. I think a jellyfish museum is a really cool idea. I love watching jellyfish when I go to like Steak 954 or something. I haven't been in a while, but I love the idea of having that educational component to bring an indoor activity to the beach area for families and visitors. At the same time, I do support doing that as a special exception as opposed to changing the zoning all around. Simply because if you go back to the map max in the B2, there's a very small amount, as you mentioned, of B2 properties. One is already slated for, one is already, we changed the zoning to B3 for that one. But the point is that there's very few B2 areas here. So to change the code for one use may not make the most amount of sense. So I would 100% support this as a special exception, but I just don't think I can support this as a zoning change, overall blanket zoning change. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Thank you, Mayor. Right, I think Mr. Hernandez brings up a good point. And as I was watching you, Max, when he brought up special exception, you shook your head no. I wondered why. Do you know something I don't know?
Okay, so I wouldn't propose to have this as a special exception within the AOD because, as I said, it's already permitted on many of the properties in the AOD. So perhaps in a base zoning district of B2, that's fine. That being said, I don't think making it a special exception would accomplish the concerns that have been expressed about the building's architecture. None of our special exception review standards speak to meeting the design criteria. We would have to create a new standard here to say new applications for museums on B2 property within the AOD could only be approved as a special exception where they're meeting specific design criteria that's exists for new development.
Well, that was my next question. What are the parameters of the criteria? They'd go to the ZBA for a special exception.
It would go to the ZBA for the special exception, and it would ultimately be up to that body to determine if the application was meeting the criteria for the special exception or not. It's a bit of a unique standard to bring up a design.
Okay, so we have the Architectural Review Board.
The Architectural Appearance Committee does not review facade modifications. They would review new development or substantial additions.
So you're saying it's difficult to come up with a parameter for special?
We do not apply new development standards to existing development. So, for example, if a permitted use was proposed at this location, it would not dictate that they modify their building's facade.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed that
it's a unique
in the backup, we have no idea really what this is looking like, what's it about, where is it located, et cetera, et cetera.
It isn't, this.
I know, but we know there's a reason behind why we're here on this item, so it's a tough one, I don't know. It seems like an incredible, interesting, fun thing, family-oriented thing. And so all the reds that are around it or in that area, they're all B3s. Is that right, on the map?
Yes, the red is B3. Thank you. I also want to say I know that the public comment section was closed, but perhaps if you had specific questions on the design for a potential business owner, they could have a presentation to answer some questions about what it may look like. But again, I don't want to go too much into that because this is an amendment to our code, not anything specific to conditions for a specific property. So while I don't want to condition a text amendment on.
Correct, I understand.
For a certain property.
Completely, and then there is something to say that in B3s, a museum is allowed already, and there's B3s all over there. And wouldn't you agree that a lot of the times when they form these zoning districts, they said, oh, we got a bunch of B2 stuff here, so we'll just call this block B2, and we'll call that block B3. So, that's why we do so many changes as we do. But I think it's a cool concept, for sure. Thank you.
Very good. Vice Mayor?
I just wanted to say that it does seem, in general, text amendment changes, I am concerned about unintended consequences and what we get. This seems pretty narrow. And I also want to make sure we're not making it overly difficult for businesses to open here. So while the picture, I mean, it was interesting, it doesn't really bother me. So we could postpone this and beat this to death, and maybe we need to, but it seems quite narrow what we're doing here, right? It's just these two uses in the AOD, and it only matters in B2 because they're already allowed everywhere else.
In the other commercial
districts. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Fessick.
So just, Max, I know that I would have to, again, agree with Commissioner Sigerstein-Eaton that B2 sometimes, that's next to a B3 and things along those lines. But we have in the past, as a city and as a sitting city commission, whether I was on it or not, made changes to zoning codes for development purposes. And so the concern I have are for the other B2 areas, or the initial creation of the changes was to have different types of buildings. So if you allow this, let's just head away from the Jellyfish Museum for a second. The second portion, allowing for internal or commercial, what was it? What slide is that?
Commercial or entertainment recreation.
Okay, so indoor commercial recreation. So like Commissioner Sigerson-Eaton said, there's usually often reasons why we're doing this. I'm wondering what the second part of that, like how did that come into the equation here, be added here?
Well, honestly, it's a catch-all for smaller indoor commercial that's not otherwise defined in our code. And it just felt appropriate that if we were looking at uses that weren't permitted in B2, that we thought did bring attractive uses to a destination node, that would be a use that we would want permitted on those properties to spur new business opportunities.
Okay. I don't, again, I don't want to, I do also feel this is narrow, but we are dealing with such a small amount of space that is already packed with a lot of stuff. And I, like I said, I love the idea. I'd love to see it brought as a special exception. And I understand there may be some difficulties there, but Zoning Board of Appeals, I support the business. I don't really think we need to, I don't support adding things to this overlay district, but it's already sort of been overdone. Thank you.
Very good. It's interesting, you just used the phrase destination node. That's kind of what I look at as our beach area as. It's the destination node. And I think anything we could do to uplift that destination node, just like we're trying to uplift other destination nodes throughout our city, is a good thing. I think we should really try and uplift the city as much as possible. And I get it, that this is a cool concept. And we wouldn't be having this discussion if a bank wanted to lease that property right now, because, okay, it's a bank. Yep, they're allowed. But ideally, it would be great if somebody just bought that place and scraped it and had to comply with all of our newer regulations. I mean, that way it fits in better. Let's bear in mind that don't look at this in a vacuum. This is also next to, or not directly next to, but awfully close to where we plan to invest an awful lot of city money eventually, and hopefully have some new development on our Oceanside parking lot. So it's important, I think, that we do figure out how we can have some teeth. Now, if you say there's really, we can't do it, I get it. Okay, then fine. I'll just vote no on it. Because I firmly believe that we have to do better than just say, well, okay, you can do whatever you want. You can leave the building like it looks and just slap your name on the side of it and go into business. Because, I mean, we have to do that for a bank or some other purposes, perhaps. But we don't have to do that in this situation. And no, I'd prefer to see it scraped and rebuilt or something else, that makes it, uplifts the appearance of the property. And just saying, well, yeah, no, they don't have to, so it's just let them in. It's a cool concept. I wish that we could work something out. Who knows, maybe there's other space, but just saying, well, okay, this is what they want to do. I mean, I know that, a lot of times developers will tell you anything. Okay, and so will people who want to come in. They'll tell you, oh, this is what I'm going to do, but then they come in and they don't do it. So all the pretty pictures in the world don't necessarily guarantee that we're going to get what we want, and that's my issue here. I wish we could figure out some way to fix this. I mean, you and I discussed it on the phone. I'd love to have the use, but not just letting go of whatever little hook we have to make the property upgraded. That's it.
Mayor,
Commissioner Sigerson-Eaton.
if you know, do these people purchase this property? Or they're just leasing it?
It's a lease, I believe, but that's really immaterial. I see Mr. Berman's getting heartburn.
Well, it's just a question.
Yeah, I know. It's a text amendment. It applies to generally everything, so it's not spot zoning. No, of course not. Further commission discussion. Commissioner Smith.
I didn't see the picture on the laptop, so I don't know what the
I was waiting
facade-
for it to be asked to be shared.
Yeah, I would like to
Part of
see
my
what the images that everybody's talking about.
That was something else. That was
Oh.
a part of an initial concept drawing. They've since revised this.
Okay, I'd like to see the revised one. Thank you. And it is, and I ask, what is so bad about how that looks?
I guess I just have a lot of concern with doing this based on the potential appearance of a building, because nothing in this ordinance would dictate the appearance of that building. So if being comfortable with what is potentially proposed is what you're looking for, then we can certainly talk about that, but it isn't something that's a part of the ordinance, or we can't really condition a text amendment approval on a development agreement of that, does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
But I'm not offended by that look at all, and I think it would be an awesome attraction to families coming to our beach and just had one more tourist thing for them to do. So, and it's such small sections of the overlay district that I'm leaning to support the changes so that we can get unique businesses in those little parcels.
Further, Commissioner Fessick.
So, Mayor Harden, I actually also agree with you today. So this seems to be a very landmark day, but it's very honest. I really do believe that we have done some amazing things in the beach area and specifically in the AOD. And because of that, what I would love to see, as opposed to just a zoning change to allow businesses, again with no teeth, I would agree with Mayor Harden in saying that maybe we should protect our investment in that way in our commercial zoning district. So I would definitely support a change where commercial business or commercial businesses in general or properties would be held to a design standard, because we also have the W coming in and they have very specific brand standards. We have done amazing work with the pier. We've done everything we can, and I can't tell you how many times I've sat in opposition to certain projects and I've been told we're trying to beautify the area. And so I don't think a zoning change is appropriate a blanket zoning change is appropriate for this area. I would much rather see this brought as a design change if we're going to change the zoning or in any way. Thank you.
Okay, very, very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik.
No.
Commissioner Perkins.
No.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
No.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier.
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
No. Item 17 is the first reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a license agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and Blue Water Movements, Inc. to utilize the Emma Lou Olson Civic Center, Charlottebury Civic Center, and Alsdorf Park to conduct its annual Pompano Beach Saltwater Circuit, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good evening, Mr. Boudreau.
Good evening, Mark Boudreau, Recreation Director. So while this agreement is new to you this evening, we've been in fact working with Blue Water for 9 years now in previous agreements. And they've been cultivating this event for years to bring it to the terrific event that it is today and the economic engine that it is today. So this particular agreement is a 3-year agreement. For each year, they'll host the Saltwater Circuit, which is a fishing tournament series to include the Saltwater Shootout in May, the Saltwater Slam in June, the Saltwater Showdown in August. And this is one of the largest fishing tournaments of its kind and offers over $600,000 in cash and prizes to the participants. So this series will provide significant economic benefit in revenues that will be derived from lodging, fueling, dining, entertainment, and retail sales. So this is good for the city, it's good for tourism, and it's great for the anglers.
Very good. Thank you for that. It certainly is. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson Eaton?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith? Oh. Vice Mayor Fournier?
Yes.
Mayor Harton?
Yes. Very good. Item number 18 is a resolution.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, appointing blank to the Golf Advisory Board of the City of Pompano Beach to fill the unexpired term of Gary Ruderman, said term to expire on May 15, 2027, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded for discussion.
Mayor, I'd like to nominate Scott Schoen.
Scott Schoen, alternate one. Further nominations for this?
Mayor,
Commissioner Smith?
I would like to add a nominee from District 5, Stephen Botek, if we could add him, and he's applied, but he just recently applied, because I didn't know this was coming up. So could we add him to the list and do this vote at the next meeting?
So you're asking to postpone it?
I'm
then?
like I'm the postpone queen tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, because I would like to add Stephen Botek. He's an avid golfer and very active out in the Palmyra golf courses. I think he'd be a great asset to
Okay,
for
well,
our
let's-
city
let's-
advisory board.
Let's see if there's support. So you're making a motion to postpone until our next meeting?
And add,
Well, you take that up with Kervin. But you're making a motion to postpone this appointment?
that's the only way I can get him on here, right, is to postpone?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Making a motion to postpone till the next commission meeting.
Okay.
Second.
And there's a second?
Yes.
Second by Commissioner Sigerson Eaton. I'm just going to look at Kervin. Kervin, is there any urgency in this appointment?
No urgency.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. Discussion on the postponement. I've got Vice Mayor.
Right, so we have two alternates who've been serving on this board and are also avid golfers and have been attending meetings and doing a lot of work. So I would think for someone new, when we move someone up, there will be an opening for an alternate, and his name can be on there, and we would probably all support that at that point. But to leapfrog someone who's already on the board for someone new is not, we can, certainly it's an option, but I would not support that, given that I know these people are very active on the board right now.
So, Mayor?
Sure.
Okay. So if one of the alternates gets appointed tonight,
then there's an opening.
Then there'll be an alternate open, and that's the, all right, I'll go with that. Sorry, I'm going to pull my postponement.
There's no guarantee who's going
Pull
to.
the postponement because now it will come up on the next agenda as an alternate.
Yes.
If we fill it tonight, we will have something coming up on a future
alternate.
agenda for
That
the
makes
alternate.
sense. That make,
Withdraw your motion.
I withdraw my motion.
But just to be clear, there's no guarantee who gets appointed in this or in the future.
It seems like it's pretty guaranteed. People put skin in the game.
There are a few
so-
guarantees around here anyway these days. so.
Yeah, just want to make that clear. There's no
All right.
guarantee for the future what could happen. We could have a meteor hit Pompano Beach. You never can tell. God forbid. So you've withdrawn your motion?
I withdrawn my postponement, yes.
Okay, so we've got Scott Schoen, alternate 1, District 3 has been nominated. Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, nominations closed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
Hope you
Thank
get
you.
in.
Thank you. That takes us up to additional audience to be heard.
No further audience.
Very good. Thank you for that. Next scheduled meetings, plural. We have April 30th, 2025 at 6 p.m. That's a special joint city/CRA meeting. So that's at 6 o'clock on April 30th. Then we have our next regular city commission meeting is May 13th at 1 p.m. Then we have another special joint city/CRA meeting coming up on May 14th at 6 p.m. Then another regular city commission meeting on May 27th at 6 p.m. So those are our next meetings. All right, takes us up to reports. Mr. Harrison.
Yes, sir. Have 3 items for my report tonight.
Okay.
First item is Russ Ketchum wanted me to remind you all that Earth Day is today.
Woohoo.
It's the 55th Earth Day. And Russ, did you have something you want to say to the commission?
timing was off a little bit with Brian standing up. Anyway, Russ Ketchum, Director of Environmental Services. Yes, thank you, sir. I did want to take a moment to highlight some things that the Environmental Services Department has been involved in, especially because, again, today is Earth Day, the 55th Earth Day. So as we celebrate Earth Day, we have gotten involved in a lot of projects over the year. And one of the projects is that we have donated and helped plant today, actually 16 rare and exotic fruit trees at the Patricia Davis Community Garden. And that's what some of these pictures are all about. In fact, all the pictures, you can't see them all. In fact, we've teamed up with Farmer William from the community garden to bring gardening programs to several local schools. Cross Creek High School, Somerset Pines, Pompano High, and Blanche Ely all have started on-campus gardens that their students have been involved in. We continue to hand out free compost bins to single-family homeowners in Pompano Beach, which is a simple way to reduce food trash going in to the waste stream and to also help gardens. We've given away almost 500 of those so far. We've started recycling programs at multiple elementary and high schools and restarted our recycling program at City Hall. So now it's even easier for employees to recycle at their desks. Finally, we're wrapping up our annual scholarship program. Each year, as you know, we award scholarships to exceptional high school seniors who reside in Pompano Beach who are preparing to attend college and pursue a major in environmental field. So we've had a great response this year, very encouraging. So again, Environmental Services just highlighting a few things that we've been doing. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Russ. And Ms. Lisa? So the HR department has recently been made aware that they are the recipient of a very prestigious award that Lisa's going to explain. Just so you know, I was their volunteer patient.
Uh-oh.
Here's the award.
You didn't laugh at that, Allison.
Lisa Sonego.
Yeah.
I was going to say, here's the award. Now the drum roll. Lisa Sonego, Human Resources Director. Yes, so City of Pompano Beach, as a team, has been awarded the 2025 Bell Seal for Workplace Mental Health at the gold level. Yeah, at the gold level by the Mental Health America Association, the nation's leading nonprofit dedicated to promoting mental health and well-being. Only 2 in 5 employers meet the Bell Seal standards, and Pompano has received one of the highest levels they award. So the certificate evaluates employers on how they support mental health across 4 key areas: workplace culture, benefits that support mental health, caring beyond compliance, and holistic wellness at work. So this prestigious recognition reflects proactive policies, inclusive practices, and a culture of care.
Very cool.
We're very happy to receive that.
Now, is
you,
the
Lisa.
commission eligible for those services?
Sure are.
Very cool. That's great, especially considering the proclamation we had earlier about Mental Health Week. Yes, very good. Congratulations.
Thank you, Lisa. Good job.
And you know, that plays in with the discussion we had this morning at our joint meeting about the fitness center. Because that helps the employees with that. Good job. Congratulations.
Okay.
And third report is I'd like for the major to come up and brief you all on what he's been doing with his personnel on Northwest 15th Street.
Oh, very good.
So good evening, everyone. We've had a operational plan in place since the 7th. So in a 2-week period, we've written over 40 citations to semi-trucks. We've actually towed one for a criminal violation. We have our commercial vehicle deputy here who kind of put him on this mission. And he's spent the last 2 weeks really diving deep into possibilities for long-term as well. We will continue our operation. We will continue to cite them, but we think some other possibilities will assist with for a long-term resolution. If you don't mind, I'd like to bring them up and have a speak.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Love to hear it.
this opportunity to say Deputy Kersey also has 36 years with Pompano Beach Police Department and Sheriff's Office, and he will be retiring in June. So,
Oh,
appreciate
man.
his service.
We can't convince you to stay, can we?
I don't think so.
Good evening, everyone. Take your shot. I wish I could tell you there's a rainbow or a bright light at the end of the tunnel or a solution to come up with this or end this problem. But what I see as a commercial vehicle enforcement officer and what I'm encountering out here, we're growing by leaps and bounds in this city. 98% of our infrastructure is supported by trucks. Big trucks, little trucks, medium trucks. All of our goods and services have to come in to the city of Pompano Beach by truck or rail. And it's very limited on what we get by rail. We don't get anything by seaport or aviation. So this is something that we're going to have to do a deep dive in and look and see where we're going. Because trucks are going to be part of Pompano Beach's life from this point forward. And even more so when several of the projects come to full fruition here in the city. And I'm going to speak about the white elephant in the room, and that is Southwest 3rd Street with the casino warehousing district out there. There are 390 doors that trucks are going to back up to daily. And that's just not one truck, that's 3 to 5 trucks per day coming in there. And that's over 1,200 trucks when you add it up. We have no infrastructure or locations or parcels of land 40 acres or greater to stage these trucks or where they can go. And this is why they end up on our streets. These drivers drive all night long all over the United States, Indiana, Ohio, Seattle, Maine, New York. They get here. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations has put them on a 16-hour schedule. Sometimes they get here and they've got no choice but to come to a complete stop where they're at. And that's the best case scenario for them. We go out there and we issued tons of tickets. And last year alone, I personally wrote 552 citations to commercial trucks in the city of Pompano Beach for a revenue total of $60,715. We need to look and find out, are we getting these fines paid also? I've entered into conversations with the city attorney to check on this and find out where we're going. I know last commission meeting we proposed upping the fine. That's a great idea. But we have to look at it from a ethical and empathetic avenue also. I know Northwest 15th Street is a real tough cookie right now, but if we go out there and make this a no-through truck street, just like it wants to be, the people don't want to see the trucks. If we go at making it a no-through trucks, there's a high possibility this is going to affect a lot of the residents who live in that area that drive trucks of that size.
Okay, let's keep going.
I've got several families. I've been one-on-one conversations with them in the last 2 weeks, live in Golden Acres. Their father drives a truck. That's the truck that's received 6 citations from me at 19th Avenue. There's another family that lives on Northwest 3rd Avenue, the 1200 block in the apartment complex there. They've received citations from me. A lot of these people who own barbecue trailers, we make this a no-through trucks, they could be caught and be fined and cited as a moving violation and maybe even as a criminal violation, give them a criminal record. Is this how we want to do this? This has far, far-reaching effects. Signs. Signs are expensive. They cost money. It costs time to go out there, put them in, have the trucks run them over, have the trucks run the landscaping over. Do they read them? Most likely not. They don't even read the message boards when we put them out. It's part of my job. We're 12 days into this. I personally have over 40 traffic stops. I've got 1 speeding citation, 11 moving violations for trucks traveling between Dixie Highway and I-95. Their GPS is telling them to go this way. Northwest 15th Street is still listed as an arterial feeder road from way back when Broward County originally developed that road. Same thing goes for Northwest 48th Street from Dixie to Federal, listed as an arterial feeder road. The county has updated it, but the GPS companies have not. These drivers are just using that daily. I've got several residents that I've spoken with that are complaining about the FP&L trucks and the city trash, or not, the garbage trucks that pick up dumpsters and the claw trucks traveling on 15th Street. That's a public safety, not a public safety, it's a public service commission type truck. They're going to be allowed to go through there anyway. If we can develop signage, and again, I'll work with the city attorney's office and Hal Beard over at Public Works and Rob, to designate no tractor trailers on 15th Street from I-95 to Dixie. Would that be a solution that could amicably help everybody here? And post it that way. We're going to have to put postings on Dixie Highway prior to 15th Street too, overhead, to let these trucks not know to make the turn. Because once they make that turn, they're committed. And they're going past Miss King and Miss Moreland's house. I saw videos today from this past weekend of one who came east of 12th Avenue under I-95 and got as far as 7th Lane. And yes, it's a roadblock. It's a complete roadblock. When they're turned into 7th Lane and realize, oh, the trees are lower in there, they're not up to 13 or 14 foot high, there's no way for them to make a turn in there. So he's got to back and jockey this truck around with a 53-foot trailer. It's not a simple fix. Commissioner Burke? Not a simple
Yes,
fix.
I hear everything you're saying, but the part that bothers me when you said it's a part of life, and when you live there in that community, it is a part of life when we see them sitting there on the side of the road, sleep every day, all day, every night. And I'm not talking about 2 and 3 trucks. So I made the motion at the last meeting that we raise the citation, I think, fee to $250?
$350.
$350?
$350.
When it comes back, I'm going to make the motion for $500. Because listen, we have to live with this. Now, it's one thing to drive through, but to sleep there, you're not going to sleep on the beach. You're not going to sleep on Federal Highway. You're not going to sleep on A1A. So I understand there are businesses around that area. I do understand that. The movement is what I'm talking about. I just have an issue with them stopping and sleeping because everybody calls me. They're always there because my thing is, and I say this to everybody in my community, if you see something occurring at that particular time, this is how I stay on my mother's case too, don't let it build for 3 and 4 weeks before you tell me. Stop it at the beginning and it's easier to stop.
Absolutely.
This has been going on for years and it's getting worse. Now, we've been talking about this on the dais for about 4 or 5 years that I could remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked BSO to figure it out. You said something about signs. You said something about you're going to try to find out have the fines been paid. But You need to figure this out. If I have to sit down to a table with you and help you, I will help you figure it out. There is an answer.
My question is I am asking you, in the road between Dixie Highway and 7th Lane, are they stopping and parking on the swales in front of the houses and staying overnight? Or is it occurring west of 12th Avenue towards Powerline Road where I do find the trucks?
Well, the trucks on 15th are located west of the overpath.
West of the overpass?
They're lined up there.
Not in the residential area?
No, I think, did you send me a picture? I think I sent, somebody sent me a picture of a residential, but I'm not sure if it was you or not. Oh, okay. Well, Ms. Smoke's house, that is residential.
What's, ma'am?
I don't know her address, but she's on 15th. She's the first house. If you're heading, if you're off, let's see, power line heading east, she's the first house on the left.
Okay, 19th Avenue.
So they park there a lot.
19th Avenue.
Yes.
Her nephew parks his truck there.
He does?
Yes, ma'am.
In front of the house? I mean, in the road on the side? across the
Actually,
street?
on the turnout lane there at 19th Avenue. He was the one that I talked to.
He parks on 15th?
Yes, ma'am.
We didn't know that.
Yes, ma'am. I did also tell.
Because she was here at the last meeting complaining too about it, so. But yeah, that's no excuse not to move those trucks.
No,
Okay.
But no, what I'm trying to say, are we talking about trucks pulling up in the residential area and sleeping overnight there? Or are we talking about further west in the industrial area?
I'm talking about all trucks that are sleeping on Northwest 15th Street.
Correct.
Whether it's industrial, whether it's residential, they should not be sleeping there. I mean, we pass there all day, all night, so no.
I've got Mr. Berman wants to chime in.
First of all, I just want to make clear the requested change to the ordinance, it's on the next agenda.
Yes,
So
and it was coming up.
That's done.
I'm waiting, yeah.
It didn't make it for, it was just too late for today, but
Right.
it's on the next agenda. Number two, I spoke with the chief this morning. It's the first conversation we've had about potential solutions. We're going to get together with BSO, with parking staff, and see if we can come up with some suggestions that we can possibly bring back to the commission for your consideration. I think that's probably the best, my suggested way to handle it, instead of, back and forth here. Let's bring you some potential solutions if there are. Because right now, we've got the dog chasing the tail, or the tail chasing the dog, one or the other. We go out, we write, but it's not stopping the problem. Even if it's more, then we have to try and collect it. And, these are people who may not live here. They may be from Idaho. Try and get that ticket if the truck comes back. It's difficult. We're going to see if there's any creative solutions. I did read a report that and I know this, I'm not making excuses, but I did read a report that there are less places in the state of Florida and around the country for these truckers to place their vehicles before they can unload, as Deputy Kersey said, they have no place to stay. So I don't know if there's a solution there. There were federal grants. I don't think they were there when I read the article 2 months ago. I doubt those federal may not be there now for more truck areas for parking, because they're parking on the streets, creating hazardous conditions. It's not just here, it's around the country. It was a national report. And I think we need to at least put our heads together, see if we can come up with something.
Well, maybe we can, I don't, have some kind of partnership or whatever with the farmer's market.
So, Commissioner, we're going to continue enforcement. We're going to write the tickets. But the reason I brought Deputy Kersey is just to try to explain.
Right.
Like you said, this problem's been going on for about, I've been told about 7 years, is mostly. So the tickets alone aren't stopping the problem. It's putting like a little Band-Aid on it. We're going to continue it, but we're going to explore some other opportunities to.
But I noticed in one area you have no parking signs, and they have stopped parking there. But in other areas where there are no signs, they're parking.
They're stopping there. They're stopping there. There was 4.
No, but it's so close to the road, they can't in that little area. I'll take a picture and send it to you. And maybe we need to be consistent with that. Maybe we can work with code enforcement to find out what we can and cannot put there on the side of the road.
We'll work with them to come up with something.
Okay.
I just wanted you to know, we're working on it, we're writing the tickets, we're doing the enforcement, but I think with some city help, we'll get better results.
Okay. And I really appreciate the update.
Yes, ma'am.
I've got some other commissioners who have some comments also. I got Vice Mayor, and then I've got Commissioner.
Thank you. Yeah, I just feel a little bit more confused than where we were when we started here and that we're going in circles. So I do think may I suggest that the right people get on a Zoom, get the right pictures, get the right data, and maybe prepare some kind of summary for us of including a map of where this is actually happening, some pictures so we can see this, and a list of suggestions or a proposed plan so that we can actually look at that. And maybe you need to get with, I don't know, yeah, code and parking, whoever needs to be on this Zoom, everybody get together on this, because we did this out at the homeless shelter on Blount Road, and we had a preparation call, and we made sure we had everyone engaged. You were on that, and then we went out there and we did it, and then we have 2 follow-up calls since then. So perhaps we need to like size the problem, understand where it is, look at how many tickets have been issued, have they been paid, and get that down on paper for us, so that and then a plan, because right now I'm not sure where we're headed with this. But
Yes, Mayor, we can absolutely do that.
Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Fessick.
Thank you. So I wanted to thank you for coming and taking the time to explain the issue as you saw it. One thing that concerned me, and I wrote it down, was that 98% of infrastructure is supported by truck or rail, and that we as a city are lacking in the infrastructure to support that. When you brought up Southwest 3rd Street with the casino and the warehouse district and another 390 doors, I understand we can only ask you to do so much in your capacity, so I would actually like to echo the Vice Mayor's suggestion that we all kind of come together, and would love to have maybe our zoning, development review, because as we're approving these projects and we're moving forward, people moving and or product moving, again, comes back to the same problem, right? So we're having problems with cars, we're having problems with trucks. If we are going to grow as a city, we need to make sure we are growing in ways that can support not just building the building, but allowing people to come and go from those buildings. So that includes businesses who require this type of activity. It shouldn't happen in a residential area. I agree. We have to fix that, because that's, I think anybody who I speak with in all of Pompano, if they were tractor trailers driving through your neighborhood, or people that you don't know from other states with a tractor trailer sleeping in the cab of their truck in your neighborhood, you would be outraged. And I'm sorry that it's taken this long, but I think it's time for us to fix it. So I would support that. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Segerson-Eden.
Yes, if you're doing any signage, make sure you get 48th up in the Highlands between Dixie and Federal. And you mentioned something interesting. Their GPSs are taking them there because they were arterials, feeder roads. And I've heard it's very difficult to get the GPS maps changed. But you said it's the county. Can we work with them to get these, maybe we can get the truck routes and get some information where we can move them in and out to industrial areas where at night they're not bothering residents. But having truck routes?
We have one designated truck route, and that would be north and south through Andrews Avenue. That is a designated truck route.
Sure. And I think too, we have to be realistic, and the Little Havana restaurant needs to have his truckload of fresh meats, etc. So some of these trucks have to move in and deliver their goods throughout the city, all the way to the beach at times, and the restaurants, etc. So it's not like they don't have a right to be on the roads unless there's a weight issue. But make sure if you're doing signage, it would be great to get 48th Street in the Highlands between, by the Walmart, and let's see if we can get these GPSs changed, right? So they're not taking these, especially over there on 7th Lane and 15th. I mean, that's crazy. Okay, thanks.
Very good. Commissioner Fasick?
So I just have two more things. Mr. Berman, I know in other cities, even in other states, there are certain areas where delivery trucks, not to exceed, I guess, like 26-foot box trucks or things like that would be permissible, or city utility trucks at whatever height would be, but tractor trailers specifically are not allowed in those areas. So if you have and there's businesses actually that are born out of this, where they become just transfer stations, essentially. The tractor trailers in areas where they can do business, they pull into the dock is then transferred, the product is transferred to a smaller truck, and the smaller truck runs and does the deliveries, which potentially would be a solution to maybe not having tractor trailers in our neighborhoods. Not that we can conduct business, but would we be able to have anything where we have, just limits on tractor trailers themselves through residentials, or?
We already limit tractor-trailer parking in residential. It's also subject to towing, unlike other districts, unless they remain for 24 hours. We have to follow Chapter 316 Florida statutes, uniform traffic. And that allows under, I think it's 316.008, I believe is the section, cities to fine-tune to deal with specialized situations in their city to regulate traffic on city streets, but it's limited. You can't go too far afield from what the state allows. So we'll look into any changes that we can, and I appreciate the suggestion, but we have to do it within a certain construct, and we'll take a look at that and make sure whatever we decide to do is lawful.
And then, so as a secondary thing, whenever there's a problem, I like to try to find a solution. So maybe one of the things, if at all possible, we have some land right now that, although it's tied up in discussions, but it's currently unusable. Maybe we have a staging area somewhere in Pompano, or maybe there is somewhere where there's a parking lot staging area in Pompano where people can, until it's time for them to come to deliver, we may be able to make that a revenue opportunity for us, potentially.
And we started that conversation earlier today,
Good.
and we're going to be looking into that, see if it's feasible, how it would be operated, how it would be monitored, how it would be collected. It's an interesting situation. We started that conversation today, and that's why I asked for some additional time so we can see what might be possible.
Perfect, thank you.
Very good. I would just say, keep enforcement. Keep enforcement, keep enforcement. I know it's hard, but just keep hammering.
Yeah, but my last, the last is, there's so much going on with the trucks, and my biggest concern right now, I think the first concern would be sleeping overnight. And I know the GPS doesn't say go there and sleep. I just think that we need to start first with the sleeping overnight and then deal with the businesses and up and down the wrong roads or whatever later. So that's just my suggestion, but thank you so much for the report.
Very good. Mr. Harrison, this is your report.
I'm done.
I'm close to making a motion that the city manager doesn't have a report. Okay, city attorney.
I think you've heard enough of me. Go Panthers. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Alfred.
Yes, I just want to make note that due to the selection that was made for the Golf Advisory Board, Scott will be moved up to full membership, clearing the way for alternate one. But based on prior discussions, Mayor, of moving up the alternates, so Robert Herron, I believe, Hedren, will be moved up to alternate one, which will open the slot there for alternate two. So we will look for Stephen's application and have that on the next agenda.
Okay. Very good.
Yes. Okay. That
Thank
concludes
you.
my report.
Appreciate that. City Commission, Commissioner Fesick.
It has been a very long day, so I only have a few things. One, thank you very much to, I don't know if Chief McGinnis is here or not still, but there was a recent incident with at a business where there was a man who had a heart attack, and EMT was completely, firefighters and EMT were completely responsive, and ended up resulting in saving that man's life. The business owner was very concerned about how these things can happen pretty much anywhere, and asked about AEDs, the AED units, and subsequently has bought one of the used units, or is planning to buy one of the used units from the fire department. Now, what this then opened up was a new conversation, and this was something I would like to kind of put to you guys, is we have this unique ability to buy things sometimes in in bulk through procurement. And it would be a wonderful addition to small businesses, as well as potentially be a grant opportunity or some sort of way that we could subsidize this. But to have small businesses be able to subsidize the cost for AEDs for small businesses who wanted to have them in their location and or training to go along with that. So he's actually, the same business owner is actually hosting a training session at his business now that he's buying this AED, so that people who are interested can learn how those seconds can potentially save a life. So again, thank you to the firefighters and the EMT for their hard work, and sometimes lemons, you get lemonade, right? So the other one, thank you to everybody I went to Easter church services. And I want to thank everybody who was involved, the sunrise services on the beach. I know the Kiwanis do this and have done it for decades, but specifically the staff. I was there early. I thought it was at 6, so I got there a little early. I was there at 5:45, and I was watching the staff who are literally rock stars. They had worked both this morning event, and also they worked Hunter's Manor Park the night before. And these folks were at 5:45, even before then, setting up this parking lot and basically going home to then spend Easter with their families. So, but on a Sunday with their families. So again, I wanted to say thank you to staff. They're truly amazing. And I have there's a certain group of guys that I see everywhere. I actually asked them, I said, do you ever sleep? So thank you to our staff for that, because they're amazing. I have a District 1 meeting on May 12th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So it's going to be at Emily Wilson. And that's all I have. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Perkins.
Thank you, Mayor. 1, 2, 3 things. Saturday, we had a very successful Smooth Sound soiree at Hunter's Manor Park. We had over 800 residents in attendance. We had 2 live bands. It was very nice. I want to say thank you to Parks and Rec and to Public Works. Everybody asked me there, for some reason, where is BSO? So BSO presence was not there. I don't know why, but it's an older group, an older crowd, and everybody was wondering what happened to BSO. So they were not present, but we didn't have any incidents. On a sadder note, you all remember for Black History Month, we issued a proclamation to Mr. Benjamin Miller. And I was glad we did that. He passed away last week, and he is a former retired school teacher, and he served on several city boards. So I was very happy we were able to issue him that proclamation. Thank you, Mayor. Yeah. His funeral services will be this Saturday in Deerfield Beach, Florida. Lastly, I wanted to say, I've been thinking about this, and excuse me, I've been writing a lot on the dais, so. At this time, I have sit back and I have restrained myself while being attacked by Jocelyn Jackson and her shenanigans. Now, my expectation is that our mayor and our city manager would exert leadership. District 4 is our district, and I will no longer tolerate disrespectfulness and taunting an elected official. It is evident that we need to rein in those that seek to blemish our image. Also, Greg Harrison, the next meeting with Phil Mays and the community group, you need to be front and center. So, to go back to what I said, Phil Mays and the community, plus myself, we are charting a course for a true partnership. I do not want any outside interferences while we hammer out the addendums for the master developer agreement. So with that being said, if this behavior continues, I will ask that the contract of which this person worked is terminated immediately. I refuse to sit here and be belittled because I am an elected official. So I want to ask the city attorney, do we have any kind of disciplinary policy in place for consultants with contracts?
Any discipline would be within the contract itself, and the contract would be terminable likely for cause or terminable for convenience. But there's no discipline of outside contractors. The contract is dealt with based on the terms of the contract, which usually provide for termination.
So if the terms in the contract, does it mention, if, you know, just off the top of your head, does it say anything about the behavior or the disrespect or any of that? Is that any of that listed?
If we're talking about personal service contracts, there's usually language that says they shall properly represent themselves in the city or something of that nature, so.
Okay, well, I really want to look into that because as old as I am, as long as I've been active in this community, I refuse to be insulted by a person that is a consultant for RMA. I don't feel like I deserve that. My focus has always and will always be on the residents and the community. My job is to try to get projects done and completed. I don't have time for one person that wants to nick and pick on Beverly for whatever your reason might be. So I had to sit here on this dais, September, October, November, December, until I finally asked, when Jocelyn walked away from the podium, who does she work for? 4 months. And somebody knew she had a contract. I didn't at the time, but I didn't know why she was hammering, so I kept thinking, why is she doing this? So when she walked away, I asked, who does she work for? CRA, city? City manager said no, he didn't know at the time. But he sent me an email the next morning and said he misspoke, and she does. I appreciate you telling me that, but you all allowed her to do that. I have one mission, and my mission is for the people in my district. I am trying my best to work with Phil and this development. That's my goal, that's my purpose. I don't need someone to come along and nitpick on everything that I do. Now, I feel, and I could be wrong and you all can correct me, I feel I am one of the most busiest commissioners up here. My district is just in need and everybody's calling about everything. So when I need help, I ask for it. I don't have a secretary or assistant or whatever. So when this project started, the new downtown, I realized I couldn't do it alone. Because everybody at City Hall, they have a staff, they have somebody work for them. I have nobody work for me. So I knew this was a big staff. So I called upon 5 to 8 people that I know, can y'all help me with this project? It's not a set stone and dry committee. We can add to it whenever you like. We could take away whenever you like. If you want to call me, I'm an open book. You want to be on the committee, call me. I've always been an open book. But I refuse to sit here and be in politics over 40 years and be insulted by somebody that just started 10 years ago. I put too much time in, I put too much work in, and I'm dedicated and focused at what I do. And I'm not going to keep allowing a person that works for RMA to insult me publicly at meetings. Like what happened today. I just felt like I didn't have to talk. I fight when I feel like it, not when you feel like it. When I feel like I fight, I fight. If I don't, I'm laid back. It's not time. So my reasonings for different people, whatever. All I know is this is a big project. We will never get a project like this ever in the Northwest. And my focus is there. How do we make this happen together? How do we work this out where everybody is happy and pleased? That's my job. And with that, thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Segerson-Eaton?
Oh, yes, thank you. Just wanted to announce that the Parks and Recreation's Master Plan public meeting will be held Thursday, May 1st at 6 p.m. at the Highlands Community Center up in the Highlands Triangle Park. And I'm looking forward to that. Looks like we got some exciting things coming down the pike. And that's all I have. Thank you. Have a nice evening, everyone.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Smith?
Thank you. Positive about tonight's meeting. It was so wonderful to see the Habitat homeowners here tonight. I know Habitat has really answered a lot of prayers for a lot of people wanting to have their own home, and it's a blessing that us in Pompano are able to help facilitate that. So it was great to see them here tonight. On May 7th, May 10th, the Community Appearance Committee is having a Pompano Beach volunteer beach cleanup from 9 to noon, and they're going to meet up at the Sandbar Snacks. I'm not sure where that is, but it's 20 North Pompano Beach Boulevard, and it's a 3-hour volunteer beach cleanup. And they're meeting up at 8:45. You can bring your own gloves.
Just for the record, that's actually what it was on the agenda today. That's the place that we're replacing.
Oh.
On the beach.
All right, well, it's empty. It's
Yes.
empty, okay. But they're meeting there anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a good meet location.
It's a good meeting location. Okay, everybody knows where that is now. And I just want to mention to you, my husband and I had a date on Saturday night, and we did East Pompano, and we had a delightful time. We went to have beer at 26 degrees, and their kitchen had opened, so we had dinner. Great food. Highly encouraged that you check out their new kitchen and their food. And we downloaded the Ride Current app. And 5 minutes later, we got the circuit, Ride Circuit. We got the circuit, picked us up at the brewery, took us down to the Fisher Family Pier. We walked the pier, got back on the app. Within 10 minutes, we were back at the brewery and driving back home. So if you're going out on a date in Pompano Beach, you don't have to go to the beach and fight all that parking. You can go park on the west side of the bridge and get on the circuit, and it's a lot of fun. Meet some fun people there. My positive quote for tonight is from Will Rogers. Go out on a limb sometimes because that's where the fruit is.
Very good. Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Thank you. I'm going to try and keep it brief also. We have clean streets in Avondale and Fairview on May 15th. So we've been able to move that up because it's been a while. So Avondale and Fairview neighborhoods have clean streets next month. Thank you, Russ, for accommodating that. My monthly community meeting is normally at the American Legion, but they are getting a new roof put on. So we have moved it. It is tomorrow night. We've moved it to Emmylou Olson. It is being done in coordination with Parks and Rec, and it'll be the second Parks Master Plan meeting. And I've made it an hour and a half long so we can also hopefully talk about youth sports, because I have a lot of people asking to talk about youth sports. So Parks Master Plan and youth sports conversations, 6:30 p.m. at Emmylou Olson tomorrow night. That's the community meeting of the month. And then I want to, actually I don't want to, but I'm going to address some of what was said by Commissioner Perkins today and previously, because I share her concerns about some of the dysfunction around here. And in particular, at the end of our last CRA meeting, Commissioner Perkins spoke about leadership and how the dysfunction of the commission. And then, unfortunately, right after that, I felt like our mayor gave a roadmap for how to just continue that dysfunction by ceding his report to one. He tried to cede it to two, but only one of them took the bait or decided to do it, consultants, to then personally attack commissioners and then not give us a chance to respond by gaveling the meeting to an end. And I found that quite inappropriate. In addition to that, the comments that Commissioner Perkins makes about support, I completely agree with her. I know we probably all think our districts are the busiest. District 4 probably is because there's so much going on there right now. But I think a lot of us, this is supposed to be a part-time job, and I think we're putting way more than full-time work into it, and we don't have any support from the city. In fact, it feels like we have to sometimes like fight some of the city, which is quite frustrating. So I do think some basic support from the city, even if it's just helping with a calendar. Again, Commissioner Perkins has talked about this before, but there are a lot of events that we are all invited to, ribbon cuttings, groundbreakings, all of that. If there was some way to have all of that on our calendars so we don't have to each go through the effort of putting it on there ourselves, it would be extremely helpful to us in this part-time job that we have. So I'd like a plan from the city manager to get us some support. Let's start with calendars. And making sure absolutely everything is on our calendars that should be. And I would also like to request that, I've talked a few times about have asymmetric information here because the commission doesn't always know what's going on with the city manager and the mayor signing things. And that's, one of the points Commissioner Perkins made was an agreement that she didn't know existed for months. None of us did, but some of us did and some of us didn't, right? Like the mayor's signature was on that. Mr. Harrison knew about it, but the rest of us don't. So I don't like the idea that some of us are in the dark about these contracts. So I would also like to request a monthly report of the contracts that are signed by the city manager and the mayor. Just a list of who we've entered a contract with. So it should hopefully be a simple report, but then we at least know, all of us know, the entities that we have signed contracts with for a month. So those are a couple requests for you, Mr. Harrison. Thank you.
Very good. Yep, Commissioner
Real quick,
Perkins?
I just wanted to say that Audrey is really good with helping with the calendar. I mean, not this Audrey. I'm sorry. Audrey in the city manager's office. She's really good at helping, with the calendar of reminding me where I have to go sometime because I do forget. So just to let you know.
Very good. Commissioner Fessick?
So it's always fun to go first because, sometimes there's things that happen. But so I want to just echo what Commissioner Perkins said and what Vice Mayor said. I wasn't going to bring it up because this is a city commission meeting as opposed to a CRA meeting. However, they're one and the same. And I did have some things that I would like to address. And I don't know if this is the time or place, but since I didn't have the time at the end of last meeting, I actually did have something ready. And if it's okay with you, I would like to just say it. Okay. I'm just asking. Thank you.
You've got the floor.
So I wanted to take some time to address the things that I was not able to at the end of the last meeting, as well as respond briefly to some of the comments from the last meeting. In my role, I have questions and concerns that echo the questions and concerns of residents from my district. This is not a personal attack. To pretend that it is a personal attack is not only disingenuous, but it's irresponsible. I am being and have been, since day one, subjected to personal attacks merely by representing residents of my district because they have questions and concerns that I share. However, I do not let the opinions of others consume me. Attacking the messenger creates further optics problems when merely providing answers to valid questions and concerns would be a much easier way to resolve any potential issues. And Mr. Harrison, we've mentioned a few things, but on April 6th, in going right along with what Vice Mayor said about lack of feeling like you're fighting all the time, on April 6th, I asked, let me back that up. Mr. Mayor, I'm welcome to my opinion, and you're absolutely welcome to your opinion, and we can both work together, and we can both have our opinions, and they could be in completely different universes, and we can still find common ground and work together. And so I took no offense to your rebuttal or your opinion piece, as I hoped you would not have taken to mine. Mr. Harrison, on April 6th, I asked for specific information related to who or whom was responsible for social media posts made by the Pompano Beach CRA to their Instagram and Facebook pages. And the reason for that was because there were parts of those that were clipped from Mayor Hardin's response. Your response on April 7th was, quote, "I am not going to give you a staff person's name. You are required by city charter to deal directly and only with me. And if you're looking for an individual to blame for correcting our record, then blame me. Can you please confirm that for me?
Yes, ma'am,
Thank you.
confirmed.
Thank you. And so, and Mayor Harden, you know, in the audience we heard, I agree, you refuse to allow a member of the audience to be heard to allot their 3 minutes to somebody else. And that happens on a regular basis, correct?
No, it's the policy that if people can't give their time to somebody else. We've ascertained that as a policy. Anybody's welcome to speak, of course, but you can't have somebody sign up and then borrow somebody else's time, and you could have one person there for the whole half-hour audience to be heard. That's the reason behind that.
So is there a time limit? So is there a time limit for when we give our report time to somebody else, or is they just have a free reign?
Your report time.
Okay.
Your report time.
Okay, that's perfect. So the thing is that if any consultant or staff member chooses to have something to say as part of audience to be heard, which would be 3 minutes to speak publicly and read a statement, that would be absolutely okay. The problem is the optics here look like, and it may not have been this, but when Mr. Harrison had somebody speak and then you had somebody speak, the optics to that and how that looks to the community are not good. It appears to have those optics of favoritism because Ms. Mulder was not regulated to a time limit and neither was Ms. Buesmeister. So we were also not afforded the opportunity to respond before you promptly adjourned, and we all expressed an interest to respond. So I just wanted to make sure that was positive, part of it. Finally, I would like to thank all the residents who have reached out to me, especially after the last meeting, to offer words of support and encouragement. As I mentioned before, the opinions of others do not consume me, but I do appreciate being made aware that I am still on the right track, representing the residents in my district and throughout Pompano Beach. In closing, my parents taught me a long time ago 3 things that I continue to hold dear. First, know your worth. Second, control your emotions. And third, never settle. So as long as I'm in this role, I intend to do exactly that. I refuse to settle for anything less than the respect that I deserve, and I will always make decisions based upon the intentions and the desires of the residents whom I serve. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Commissioner Perkins, sure.
So she brought up a good point. I never thought about, so when we're giving our report, I'm allowed to say, I want to give my time to John Doe.
If you want to bring somebody up, sure, bring them.
You can
up.
do, okay.
But, I mean,
I'm just, okay, I didn't know, okay.
Just to clarify, though, the reason I brought Ms. Buesmeister up is because she is a consultant. It's different. She's not just a member of the public. She's actually working for the city.
Also, you're saying we can bring someone up from staff or working for the city, but no one from the audience?
Well, the audience has the audience to be heard. That's the thing.
I understand, but
Yeah.
doing my report, it could be something that I want to bring them up for.
Sure.
Okay, gotcha. That's all I need. Thank you.
Absolutely. Have at it. That's very good. Anybody else? Okay, this meeting is adjourned.